Discord stuff. I should probably close my mobile game that's going in the background. Oh! Oh, sorry. I just saw the name of the song and I freaked out a sec. Anyway, okay. I've got the Discord stuff all set up. I think Steam's open in the background, right? If I can actually play the game, yes. Yeah. Do. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, it's been weird being unemployed. Hey, Lokiger, how's it going? Naruto time indeed. I've been messing around, CP grinding and stuff in Yakuza today, Beppo. I've been practicing my, disco skills for the, one guy. And then I've been doing some other stuff, like walking around, riding the taxi like 30 times. Stuff like that. Nice. Congratulations. Well, I've been talking about Yakuza 0 too, so it's fine. Whatever. But yes, I've been working on CP stuff off stream a little bit. Made a bunch of money from Mr. Shakedown earlier this week, and so I've been working on CP stuff. I think we got more than 4 cliffhangers, didn't we? 6? Because there's also Teddy and Kenji that we did last time. Four left, gotcha. Okay. But congratulations on getting Legend style. Yeah. Like I said, I've been working on CP stuff, so that's been kind of fun to do. Eating at a bunch of places, working on some of the mini games and stuff. I'll have to practice the arcade ones a bit more, though. Looks like I gotta get a fairly high score on those if I want the CP from those. So, anyway, let me go ahead and boot up the game, and we'll get started with the actual fighting game. Well, for the rest of the week, I will have streams every day, because I've got today. Tomorrow we're doing that box of crap stream.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
And then Saturday, Sunday, obviously.
Arena Ultimax.
After we get all cliffhangers, then we finish everyone's stories in Labyrinth. Okay. Story time. Naoto, and then we'll probably try and get through some of the
What follows are my impressions of the organization called the Shadow Operatives, as well as their leader, Mitsuru Kirijo.
My last case was special. I need to complete my report before I forget any important details. Now, Yane, yep. Basic stuff about Naoto. That's where the story begins. A sudden request from the Inaba Police Department. This is about a month ago, early April. Once we unlock the endings, can we use last before we get to Labyrinth? That's fine. Hey, Hassan. Hassan Terrell? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Last summer, I had received a request from the prefectural police to come to the town of Inaba. Use the longest ending? Okay. A bizarre series of murders was occurring. A corpse... Okay. So this is P4 recap stuff. Okay. Something's different today, though. After greeting the receptionist, I'm not led to the usual dull meeting room. Instead, I'm taken to a reception area on the top floor. A leather-trimmed sofa, curved wood table. Oh, nove, ooh. See, I know what that word means, but it's also French, so I don't know how to pronounce it. A nove rich setting. A new rich. So, an influx of wealth. Kind of, I think.
Looks like this may take some time.
If this was just going to be paperwork and basic questioning, they wouldn't have brought me to this special room. I'm noticing the large TV in this room, by the way. I'm gonna point out that that's a central point of this artwork. If this was going to be paperwork and basic questioning, they wouldn't have brought me to this special room. As a new case? I have to wait several minutes before someone comes to speak with me. When the door finally opens, a man wearing a suit, not fitting the uniform of a local officer, walks in.
I'm sorry about the wait.
Ooh, new character. Oh, weirdly we don't go through that TV? That's surprising. It's big enough for it. He hands me his card.
Allow me to introduce myself.
His card has a lengthy title. National Police Agency Security Bureau, Security Planning Division. I'm shocked. They're more commonly known as the Public Safety Police. The Security Planning Division is the command center for departments that handle terrorist threats, coup d'etat plots, and foreign affairs. The secret police also belong to this group. But why would a person of such importance come all the way to a rural locale like this? I look him in the eyes. He appears to be measuring me up.
I see you're enough on the ball that you don't need a lengthy introduction. Good.
Without any further talk, the man gets to his point.
Have you heard of the Kirijo Group?
I doubt there are many who haven't.
I'll get right to the point. We'd like to hire you to perform a sub-rosa investigation on them.
You need a corporation quietly investigated. Why me? I don't see what I can do that your own department cannot.
I would agree if shadows and personas weren't involved.
This time, I'm unable to hide my surprise. But the man continues, either failing to see or purposely ignoring my reaction.
One summer 12 years ago, there was an explosion at the Kirijo-owned Tatsumi Port Island, killing over 50 people. You would have been very young at the time.
1 summer ago? That does not line up. Wait, hold on. 1 summer, 12 years ago. Okay. I was gonna say, like, the timeline does not light up if it was 1 summer ago, but no, 12 summers ago. That's about accurate.
I've reviewed that case. The official explanation was that a gas main leaked during a construction project. Afterwards, though, a bizarre rumor saw quite a bit of circulation.
The mass media noticed that there was a suspiciously large number of researchers amongst the casualties. They floated the theory that the official explanation was a lie, and that the explosion was really caused by some dubious experiment.
No concrete evidence was ever found to support those claims, though. As I recall, the matter was left unsettled. Some may still remember the incident, though I don't think many could recall the finer points.
Those rumors were all true.
His voice becomes firm.
What?
Those researchers under Koetsu Kirijo, the old Kirijo group manager, were working on harnessing the power of shadows. The experiment went awry, and they lost control of the shadows. That's what caused the explosion.
Experiments using shadows? They lost control? Are you saying the shadows flooded the city? The real world?
I can't speak to that. There was no way of getting hard answers back then. No one took the spooky stories seriously. But that accident got the government and the police's attention. Though they didn't launch an investigation until a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, that seems about right. All in government work time. That couldn't be helped. Law can only preside over the world as we know it. Things that can't be explained can't be governed.
Only those in the Kirijo group know exactly what happened and how much of the aftermath was dealt with.
The aftermath?
That word has a bad ring to it. It brings to mind a cover-up of some dark secret.
Their cleanup efforts continued until quite recently. They were using some method known only to them, entirely behind our backs.
Ah, yes, the events of P3.
We think they've been conducting illegal activities in the 10 years since then, while hiding behind their cleanup efforts.
And you wish for me to confirm this?
Not only do you have a relationship with us, you have a persona and extensive experience in the field. We can't think of a better candidate.
And since I'm not directly affiliated with the police, if I were to be caught in a trap, it wouldn't lead back to you.
If that's the way you want to put it.
My reply was meant to be sarcastic, but this conversation is exceptionally draining. I must applaud public safety. They know everything about anybody they choose to investigate. There's no point in trying to bargaining with them. He continues explaining indifferently as if able to sense my resignation.
Last year, in conjunction with the Kirijo group, we established an unofficial department in the force, nicknamed the Shadow Operatives.
So I'm seeing some of the P3 casts here, and the silhouettes kind of make sense for those, some of them. Yeah, like I see Junpei, I see obviously Mitsuru, Yukari. I think that's Aegis over on the right. I'm not sure who that's supposed to be on the left though. Is it some of the P1 cast almost? It almost looks like it, doesn't it? Like some of the silhouettes remind me of the P1 or P2 cast. No, that can't be right. Sorry. That's dumb. Atlas would never acknowledge P1 and P2. Far left is Fuka. Okay. But I don't know who's standing next to Fuka. Or, like, what's going on with the hair of that guy? Second to the left? Second from the left? And also the glasses guy? Yeah, I don't know. Some of the silhouettes there don't make a lot of sense. Or they're from a weird angle.
It's a special unit capable of dealing with shadow-related cases.
This is news to my ears. That's a rather bold move.
Randa's probably, yeah.
You went so far as to join forces with the ones you suspect of illicit activities?
That's exactly why we did it. We must keep a leash on them by integrating them into the system.
But the police are far behind information-wise. Officially, you are higher on the chain of command, but less so in practice.
I try throwing out a theory as I begin to get a grasp on what's taking place. The man didn't so much as flinch, but he didn't give me much of an answer either.
You'd need some leverage to keep your hold on them. Thus, this secret investigation. What exactly do you want me to do?
That will depend on your answer.
Yeah. That's their game plan. I figured as much. An organization as big as the Kirijo group is hiding the secret about shadows. Now, do I take the job or not? As a person with persona abilities, I'm naturally interested in learning how much is known about the shadows. And this job could potentially give me leverage over the government in the future. I'm deep in thought, the man continues as if he can read my mind.
If you think we're hiring you to further our organization, you're mistaken.
I can't help but look at the obvious change in his tone.
Our sources say it's possible that they've been talking students from a Kirijo-owned school into doing their dirty work. They've been pleading ignorance while making ordinary kids clean up whatever messes they've left.
Not ordinary. Not ordinary. Not ordinary, but yes, kids.
And that we don't forgive. We're supposed to be upholding the law. We can't overlook things like this.
He's surprisingly sincere. He's staring right at me. Unlike before, his eyes are strong and bold. He truly doesn't want anyone innocent to suffer. Of course, that could be an act to convince me, but even then, I do agree with that opinion. All that remains is to find out Kirijo's intentions.
All right. In that case, I accept. Though I don't plan on abandoning my school life here. I'll do what I can to help, but only within those limits.
The idea of infusing bullets or cartridges with magic is always a fun one. I would have never dictated conditions like this before. The reason I had come to this town and transferred to Yasugami High was for my investigation, but the school life and the dear friends that I've gained have become irreplaceable to me. It may sound childish to demand that I stay with my friends, but if they refuse to budge in that regard, that's that. However...
That's fine with us.
Accept my condition, almost too easily. He then immediately begins to explain the details of the case.
At the end of this month, the Kirijo group is airlifting some special cargo.
Yeah, it would have to be something like a sniper rifle or a marksman rifle or something. Something with a low rate of fire, but higher caliber, probably. Higher caliber would mean bigger, so if you have to like draw sigils on it or something, or pack in like magical material, you could do that a bit better. The other thing is you don't want to try to infuse too many bullets because it would just be like too much of a pain if you have to do them individually.
Kirijo has asked our help in making sure the cargo is transported safely.
Oh yeah, a male navigator would be interesting too. They'd probably be very soft-spoken, or navigator that's like blind or something, I think would make a lot of sense. Blind or deaf. I think blind or deaf as a navigator would make a lot of sense because you're literally using your A, because they wouldn't be directly participating in battle, and B, because they would be using their senses of their persona to see the world in a way they couldn't before, you know, or hear things or whatever.
We'd like you to accompany them as a police observer.
What do they mean, transported safely?
A police escort, assurance of no public investigation if any unforeseen situation were to arise. Things like that. Of course, if anything does happen, we will hold them responsible.
And what is this special cargo?
It's something to do with the shadow research. They've admitted that much, but we don't know the exact details. According to our research, it's most likely something from the old ergonomics research laboratory, classified as risk level 4.
I guess? Or her sister.
In other words, even though it's sealed up tight, it's extremely dangerous.
Okay. They even have a risk scale for things like this. Seems that the Kirijo research goes into a variety of different things.
Also,
as I'm thinking, the man slides a photograph to me. It's a beautiful young lady. Her eyes show a strong will, as striking as her blazing red hair. That hair reminds me of something. I may have seen her picture while going through the documents regarding the Port Island incident. Of course, the girl in those pictures were much younger.
this woman will be on that flight. Her name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo.
She's the oldest daughter of the Kirijo family, Koetsu Kirijo's granddaughter. It was he who devised the experiments 12 years ago. You should know that she's also a powerful persona user.
Persona user besides us. I was suspecting something like this, but to hear it out loud is still shocking. So there are persona users other than those involved in the case last year.
We believe she took the lead in gathering students 3 years ago when she was still in high school. We'd like you to first go to her residence and meet with her.
If he was deaf, how would the social link go? Probably it would just be in like brackets. Maybe you would have to have a high enough level of academics to properly begin hanging out with them or something for their actual social link, right? You would have to have a certain level of academics, and then it would be like their quote, like they're signing things to you, and so it would be in like brackets or whatever, be like, hey, this is what they're saying, but like they're using sign language, and you have to have a high enough academics to like hang out with them on their own. When you're in a group, there'll be a friend there who's been their friend for a while and knows what they're saying, and so can translate to sign language for them or whatever. But if you want to hang out with them on their own, like without anybody else around, you'll have to like raise your academics level enough so that you can understand and speak to them in sign language. I think that would work. Could a sniping persona work? It would have to be a bit of a glass cannon, I feel like. Also, I feel like sniping would work a little bit better if there was like a range, some sort of like grid range system with weapons and stuff. But I don't know, like, if you just want it to be a, like, if you don't want to include range into it, then you're going to just have to make a persona that's like basically kind of a glass cannon, where it hits really hard, but doesn't hit super often, and is a little bit fragile, but it hits really, really hard. The only thing is, I feel like it would be good for bosses, but not for random mobs. Which maybe that's fine, but like when you're talking about building a party, it would be hard to keep somebody like that leveled unless there's like mechanics that allow them to get growth skills on party members. Either by ranking up the party members or by ranking up another social link, kind of like in Persona 5.
All right.
I'm sure you figured out by now, since she's a high-ranking Kirijo group official and a persona user, but she's a shadow operative. She's member number 1, the general manager. And not because she's a Kirijo, but because she has the abilities to back it up. Can you do this? If she's dirty, then this won't be easy for you.
I already accepted your assignment, so I must simply make the best of it.
I offer my hand. He has the firm grip of someone who's worked on the front lines of the law. A few days later, I receive a message informing me that the transport is to be on the 1st of May. It would be interesting if they're unique, like if they had a unique skill that allowed them to pierce through resistances or Tetrakarn or Makarakarn. Because like I don't think any of the persona, like 3, 4, and 5 don't really have any piercing skills. So having that as like a unique on a party member would be a good option, I think. Yeah, you could do that too, where it's like enchanted bullets, so it shoots like buffs or healing bullets or whatever. You could do something like that. I've seen that happen before in like other types of media. It's on a school day, but since I've taken the job, there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, I should be glad that this didn't overlap with the extended holiday. I haven't heard the details, but I expect to have some important arrangements during Golden Week. Arrangements to reunite with my upperclassman, Junior Akami, who was the leader of our group during last year's incident. I keep thinking about our reunion. It's only been 2 weeks since he left, but it feels so much longer. I suppose that goes to show how much I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going off track. I need to think about my new job, so I hastily pull myself together. Probably going to read out some more of this one, because it's actual new stuff. Oh, P3 music. May 1st. The cargo is due to be transported from a laboratory near the Correggio mansion. I make my way to the mansion and present myself, and end up accompanying the security detail. The limousine is incredibly long. Apparently it isn't all that rare for the upper class in other countries to ride in cars this large, but downright comical on the tiny roads of Japan. That was where I met Mitsuru Correggio in person.
Nice to meet you. My name is Naoto Shirogane. I'll be acting as an observer today.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really... Thinking about the ranges that a battle with personas would happen in most of the time, you wouldn't need scopes anyway.
I've been told about you. It's nice meeting you as well. I'm Mitsuru Kirijo.
Her beauty is enough to attract anyone's attention. She was so much less imposing than in the picture.
I didn't expect the police's observer to be so young.
Does that bother you?
No. I didn't mean to downplay your abilities. Forgive me.
I look at Kirijo-san's face. She's the only daughter of the founding family, but it's been 2 years since she renounced the practice of the Kirijo group being run by the family. In other words, she's simply the CEO's daughter now, not the heir to the company. She must be used to constant stress, being a female leader at such a young age. Getting people to acknowledge her must have been a struggle. I don't need to mince my words in dealing with types like her. I decided to cut to the chase.
Tell me, what are the contents of your cargo?
Sorry. I was thinking car 98. Yeah, I guess a car 98. I mean, you'd probably have multiple types, but yeah, those older marksman rifle types would probably be the way to go. Or you could go and pull from Japanese weapons. I'm sure they had their equivalent.
I'm ashamed to have to admit this, but since the original researchers have passed away, we don't know
Lots of
what's
World
in it
War I
either.
guns, yeah.
We can't allow the worst case scenario for
I mean,
such an item to
Japan
come to pass
technically
in the middle of
did
the city.
Participate in World War I, but very minimally, and only as like mostly a delivery service for the Allies.
That's why we plan to transfer these items to a distant facility according to their indicated risk level.
A natural decision. Her posture, her actions, if that wasn't all an act, I must commend her for her ability to deal with the unexpected. But personally, my impression is that she's a trustworthy person. Before leaving, I had a chance to see the Correggio mansion. I have to say, it's surprisingly simple. It felt as though it was prioritizing function and efficiency over meaningless luxury. Perhaps a reflection of her own personality. At any rate, her intelligence and presence are proof enough of her upbringing. If she was hiding something, it'd be hard for me to figure it out.
Then I'll stay near the cargo along with the police escort. I'll contact you immediately if anything happens.
All right. If anything is unclear to you, feel free to ask me.
Her eyes look straight at me, and I feel like she could see through anything. I end our conversation shortly after, and wait for us to arrive. Okay. The limousine, transport truck, and multiple security cars reached the airport without any incident. Yeah, the closest we got to any sort of rifles was Yusuke. And even then, like, he had like what? I think he had some sort of like AR-15, and that was about it, if I remember correctly. Like a Vietnam era. The cargo may be dangerous, but according to the records, it was kept safely in storage for the past 10 years. At least the like carry handle was like that. Yeah, that like M16 Vietnam like carry handle. I imagine that the rest of it also is also kind of funky, but at least like the distinctive like shape of the carrying handle is there. Plus, it's worthless to the average person. Because of this, the people involved in the security don't look tense. Rija-san hands her servant her travel bag. It's almost as if she's simply going on vacation.
Yakushima. Huh.
The plan's destination is one of the southern islands. I'm sure it'd be fun to go with everyone. I realize what I'm thinking, and I have to laugh to myself. A year ago, I never would have considered that it would be fun to spend time with others. But I can't help but think of that way now. Soon they'll begin moving the cargo out of the truck. I clear my mind of daydreams and look back to the truck. They pass through the gate for large cargo shipments. The shipment is in imposing metal cases, but among all of the other shipping containers, it doesn't attract much attention from the airport staff. It's not long before the final case is unloaded from the truck. Hey, there's where Labrys is. It's obviously different from the rest. It's covered in what seems to be heavy industrial grade steel. About 1 meter wide and broad, and 2.5 meters tall. Seems like something very special is in there. But even if something was targeting the shipment, it'd be impossible to steal that. Hey, Sora. Oh, just working through the story of the fighting game. We're finally to some of the new stuff with the P3 party members. Sorry, what do you mean by KSG, Jeppo? I'm not familiar with that acronym. 4 men in suits slowly tip the case sideways to place it on the cart. Seeing out of sight reminds me of something. Looks like a coffin. The moment I realize that, a shiver runs down my spine. It does look big enough for a person to lie down in. Could there really be someone inside? Could it be that this tight security is not to prevent theft, but to keep the cargo from escaping? No. How can I imagine things like this with any proof? I shake my head clear, declared of these pointless thoughts. Am I just shaken because I heard this has something to do with shadows? I'd have to look it up to know exactly what you're talking about. Eventually, the check-in process is complete, and the announcement to begin boarding echoes through the airport. I would probably recognize it if I saw a picture. Maybe I'll look it up when I get a chance on my phone. I relax a little, relieved that nothing has happened up to this point. I do quite like slug shotguns when it comes to video games. There's something very gratifying about like loading shotgun slugs manually, and I think it works great, especially in zombie games, because like the slug shotgun is like the perfect zombie clearing weapon, but having to manually reload each slug at a time is like great for building tension, because it takes a little bit of time to like reload each one. And depending on the game, you can even like stop reloading mid-reload and like start firing again if you have ammunition in the what was that? I'm trying to think. Magazine tube, I think, right? I think that's what it's called on slug shotgun like that, or at least some of them. But yeah, I do enjoy that feeling. Once the plane takes off, the only thing in our way is the sky. I had put on an earpiece tuned to the police radio to keep up with the current situation. So far, nothing was out of the ordinary. Rija-san's group finished checking in and had boarded the plane. The cargo should be loaded soon. shotgun with mags on it. I mean, there are shotguns with box mags, right? I believe that's the right term for it. No, maybe I'm thinking of... There are shotguns that are magazine fed instead of like individual slug fed. Those can be fun too. I just like the slug loading. There's also some like box mags are for assault rifles. I think I've seen box mags for shotguns as well though. I have seen box mags for shotguns. I'm not sure if that's just like a fantasy thing, like a, hey, wouldn't it be funny? Or, oh, oops, the COD guy didn't know that you couldn't do a box magazine for shells. But I have seen them. Although the only only one that comes to mind is for a shotgun machine gun. Drum mags? Yeah, they're drum mags for shotguns. I know that for a fact. There are drum mags for shotguns. Different types, but yeah. No, there are like magazines for certain types of shotguns. Mostly like semi-automatic shotguns. Not like, you're not going to take like a shotgun from the 1940s and put a magazine on it, but there are like, there's stuff like the Sega 12 that is magazine fed. Kirijo-san's group finished checking in and had boarded the plane. The cargo should be loaded soon. After I supervise that, I'll check in, and suddenly an urgent voice jumps onto the broadcast.
The aircraft squawk code has changed to 7500.
7,500.
I have trouble mentally shifting gears after the long period of inactivity. I never imagined I would hear that number with my own ears.
7,500? A hijacking?
Is the plane I'm investigating being hijacked? That can't be a coincidence. Could this have been set up by the police or the Kirijo group? No, there's no benefit for either of them to get involved with the general public. So if that's the case...
Is it the cargo they want?
There really is someone after the cargo. Wait, if they're after the cargo, why hijack the plane? If they're not trying to steal the cargo, they'd be after Kirijo-san? No, that doesn't feel right. Hijacking isn't an effective method to carry out a kidnapping or an assassination. If they have the time and resolve to pull this off, they'd be far better off trying to take over after the plane taking the plane over mid-flight. I can't figure out their objective. Why would they do something that attracts so much attention? This is a very peculiar time to attempt to take over of the plane. Very peculiar indeed. Hijacking before departure forfeits the biggest benefits of hijacking. But at the same time, all normal airport operations will come to a halt while everyone turns their focus on the plane in question. The airport will naturally stop loading baggage onto the plane while this hijacking goes on. It's the perfect distraction. So they are after the cargo.
If that was the case, the hijacking is only a decoy.
Do RPGs have a deaf or blind character? I've seen characters who can't talk before because they've had their tongue cut out, and that to mixed results. Specifically, I'm thinking of Fallout New Vegas has a character like that. What was it you said? KSG Shotgun? Oh, one of those things? Yeah, I mean, I guess. KSG Shotgun. I don't know. I mean, it's very sleek and modern looking. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
But would they really risk their lives hijacking a plane over one
But
piece
yeah,
of
there's
cargo?
definitely been blind characters and deaf characters, but it's hard to do. I think it's more in like 3D RPGs or in like RPGs with voice acting because it's a little bit easier to do there. Trying to do that through text is a little bit annoying. Both for the player and for the writer. As I think, I scan the area from my viewpoint up in the boarding area. I see a van that had been parked near the cargo area suddenly peel out.
Huh?
A suspicious departure at this time? I have a bad feeling about this. But the cargo was just unloaded right in front of my eyes. I haven't seen anyone steal it. Hold on. The 4 men in suits with the handcart. I didn't see them. I'd lost track of them in the rush of activity after the hijack call. Grind my teeth and interrupt the radio call.
This is 002, over. A suspicious vehicle is leaving the scene. Stay in pursuit. It's a large vehicle, about 2 tons. License plate.
I hear someone confirm with Roger, but there's shouting and confusion going on in the background. Not sure if my intentions have been understood. I run across the airport by myself. I need to grab hold of these people's tail, even if only to get a few hairs. Of course, there's no way I can catch a vehicle on foot, but I have a plan. Gotcha. I run down the escalator and bolt for the passenger pickup area at the arrivals lobby. I look outside and there it is, just as I thought. The suspicious vehicle was coming this way. The airport's road layout is a loop. After leaving the departure library, okay. I hide in the crowd and wait for the van to get close. As it passes by, I throw a small sticky lump. Lucky for me, it strikes and sticks, low on the van's side. There's a compact transmitter in there. You'd have to be pretty close up to pick up the signal, but it's better than nothing. I take my hat off and wipe my forehead. The pedestrians around me begin to stir. Everyone stops and stares at their smartphones. I didn't need to look. I knew. The first news of the hijacking is hitting the media. Put my hat back on and pull the brim low. I have to be careful not to let all the information flying about confuse me. I keep my guard up as I quickly walk back to the departure lobby. Another 45 minutes pass without any more clear information coming through. There's chaos on the radio and people are in a panic. But after an hour, the confusion suddenly stops and a shocking report comes in.
All personnel on scene. The suspects have been apprehended. The hijacking is over. I repeat.
They dealt with it so soon?
Though some passengers were ill, there were no casualties. I think it should be though some passengers were injured, there were no casualties. As far as I know, the hijackers didn't even make any demands. Hey Dom, how's it going? It's hard to think that the police could have negotiated with them. But on the other hand, there's no indication that the special assault team had stormed the plane. Did the group surrender now that their decoy objective was complete?
What's going on here?
Just then, a radio call came in directly for me.
Operator to 002, over. The hijacking has been dealt with, but the transfer must be canceled. The whereabouts of one piece of cargo cannot be confirmed. All indications are that it has been stolen.
Then that vehicle earlier. Are you still in pursuit?
We're tracking it through the end system. Head to the guest room immediately so we can discuss our response.
Looks like my call to report that suspicious van had not been a mistake.
Understood.
Soon after, the involved parties were gathered in a conference room. Corregio-san and the police were talking hurriedly. A good number of this quickly put together team are not aware of the confidential nature of this matter. I imagine things won't be proceeding so smoothly. At any rate, the van on the run can be tracked through the end system. The hijackers were handed over to the airport police, while those of us who knew the truth about the cargo were moved to one of her buildings.
That was a very tidy operation. I had thought it would take at least half a day.
To put it delicately, we had someone with special abilities handling this.
I guess.
Then again, though we prevented any harm from coming to the hostages, we lost the cargo.
Nothing for it, I suppose. Who would have expected an entire hijacking to cover up the theft of some cargo? I must apologize to you as well. I was the closest at hand when it happened.
No, you did more than enough. It's thanks to your sharp eyes that we're able to track the suspicious vehicle now. I'm impressed that you realized in all the chaos that the cargo was the true target. You even spotted their getaway truck.
Thank you. Our next step should be to interrogate the suspects in custody and...
Sadly, it won't be that simple. I haven't heard much yet, but it seems they're having unexpected difficulties with the interrogation. It will take some time.
If they were prepared to risk their lives for this operation, I suppose they won't break so easily.
We made an error in judgment. We were too focused on preventing the item itself from doing any damage.
But since they targeted something so unusual, that should narrow down the suspect pool.
I can't deny it's possible that someone connected to the Corregio group is behind this. Thank you for your assistance, Shirogane. I'm sorry to have involved you in this mess, but the professionals will take it from here.
Professionals. In other words, she plans to investigate this herself as a shadow operative.
Does that mean my work here is done?
I'm afraid so. We do value your cooperation.
This is a bit of a pickle. The Creature Group and the police want to keep this under wraps, as they can't opening public investigation. On top of that, the shadow operatives are, technically, an organization working for the police. There's no room for freelancers here, which means there's no need for me to be involved in the investigation any further. Insisting to stay on this case would only draw attention. Without no other choice, I decide to take my leave. Okay. It must have been chaos at the office. Despite the unusual events, the man who hired me has not yet gotten in touch. I entertained the thought of returning home to Inaba, but luckily enough, I brought enough luggage for a short trip out of town. I decided to stay the night at a business hotel near the airport and wait to call a while for my client to contact me. Time passes. At 9 o'clock, I finally receive a phone call from the man.
Things have taken an unexpected turn. This case is under the jurisdiction of the shadow operatives now.
That will make it very difficult to continue my secret investigation.
But right now, you're the only one we have who's gotten that close. We heard you earned Kirijo's trust after the hijacking. We'd like you to keep up your investigation. We're currently making arrangements for you to pick it up again in a natural way.
What are you gonna have me do? I will not act as a spy.
I'll be in touch later.
He hangs up without waiting for my reply. I feel a weight in my heart. This has a high possibility of turning into a private investigation from the shadows. Pretty much a polite way of saying corporate espionage. If I'm to take on this job, I need to have some sort of plan. At any rate, I cannot plan my movements without knowing how the situation is progressing. It would be far better to prepare for tomorrow instead of getting worked up with worry. I read the newspaper and watch some of the TV coverage of today's events, then go to bed early. 9 p.m. After doing some research, I doubt like she wouldn't bed to bed earlier than 10 or 11. A day passes, and even by the night of May 2nd, the man has not contacted me again. Seems the police are having trouble zeroing in on the suspicious vehicle. Considering the skill with which the crime was pulled off, I wouldn't be surprised if that van had been dumped somewhere and the cargo loaded onto another vehicle. Going through all the possibilities is just a way to kill time. That's the only thing I had to do. Nothing happened until the sky began to darken as the sun went down. My phone finally rang. But surprisingly, the name on the screen brought a smile to my face.
Yes, Shirogane speaking.
Hi, Nato-kun. Oh, I'm not interrupting your work, am I?
No, it's quite alright.
Sorry to call so late. I wanted to at least give it one more shot about tomorrow.
That's right. So much had been happening, I completely forgot about the school holiday started tomorrow. And of course, we were supposed to have our reunion with you, Senpai, when he visits from the city tomorrow. I was supposed to be able to meet up with them. I didn't imagine that I'd be stuck here for 3 days, thanks to the attempted hijacking at the airport. But since I've undertaken the job, I have obligations that I can't just abandon. I'm actually starting to feel some anger towards whoever the culprits are.
I'm sorry, but it seems I still won't be able to make it. I'm actually not in Inaba at the moment, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. Oh, then I guess you can't check even if it rains.
Even if it rains?
Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself.
What was that?
It's okay, Nato-kun. I know there are people who'll be in trouble without you. You need to stay there and help them out.
Yes, well...
Help them out, huh? It irritates me to know that what I'm going to do is pretty much spy work.
It really is a shame. Give my regards to Senpai and the others, won't you?
Will do. Good luck with the job.
I hang up the phone. Seeing my dear senpai again, I feel that that's much more important than a job with an uncertain outcome, and I feel a little sad that I'm going to miss it. Maybe I should just turn the case down and make a surprise visit tomorrow.
I wonder if any train would make it in time.
But it looks like the case is not about to let me leave. After my talk with Chie-san, I began to prepare for bed. And that's when the public safety official called me again.
It seems we may be back on for the secret investigation. Mitsuru Kirijo just requested our cooperation. We agreed. A detective by the name of Kurosawa will be heading out tomorrow. We want you to accompany him to the rendezvous point.
When I ask about this Kurosawa fellow, I receive an unanticipated answer. Apparently, he had helped Kirijo-san's activities on his own while he was a constable. Even though his superiors didn't understand what Kirijo-san was up to, he followed his own instincts and helped her to protect his town. Oh, right, the policeman who sold us weapons and stuff, yeah. And the guy that the Akihiko voice actor voiced in Reload. Normally, he would be punished for this, but the situation took a 180-degree turn thanks to the establishment of the Shadow Operatives. His knowledge has been invaluable, and rather than being disciplined, he's been promoted to a plainclothes detective.
Kurosawa is willing to leak you whatever info he learns about the Kirijo group through his cooperation with them.
I'm surprised he agreed to that. Hasn't he assisted Kirijo-san and her group in the past?
I'm afraid that's something you'll have to ask him about, although he seems to have his own agenda.
I confirmed several other details before ending the call. Detective Kurosawa. If he's working with the Kirijo group, it could be something of a problem. But if they have information leaked, that means they must have located the vehicle in question. Still, considering how long it took them to find it, they may be in for a long trip. Where am I going to be sent now? I shrugged myself. Next day, May 3rd. I meet with Detective Kurosawa. I expected someone who looked shadier, but the man appeared hard-working and honest.
I'm Kurosawa.
I'm Naoto Shiragane. Thank you for your assistance.
I've heard rumors about you, Ace Detective. Let's get going.
We're not gonna get Detective Kurosawa talking sprites. We make our greeting brief, and then I get into Detective Kurosawa's car. Ooh, hello. A private investigation in a location that I had no prior knowledge or experience of. This is a more depressing... Here. Okay. This is a more depressing job in the first place, and the addition of more and more unknown variables is only making me more displeased with it.
You seem pretty listless.
Oh no, I'm fine. Where are we headed, by the way?
The place where they found the getaway car from the hijacking. A town called Inaba. It's a small place with an odd history. They just had a bizarre serial murder case there last year.
Inaba?
I can't stop the surprise from showing in my voice.
That's your hometown, right? Isn't that why they're sending you?
I'm at a loss for words, but Detective Kurosawa continues instead of waiting for me to reply.
The request I got from the Shadow Operatives was to assist in gathering information about those murders. They want me to meet with a supervising detective of that case and ask him for the full story. Not only are they part of public safety, they're an unofficial unit. They can't come to the district police for information.
Why him? Is his case related to the robbery in some way?
Public safety is sharper than you might think. They do basic reviews on all cases to see if shadows were involved. Inaba is on their watch list now. And with that cargo being brought there, they naturally suspect a connection between the cases.
If there is a connection, then it might be related to our case. I begin to have ominous thoughts and my expression darkens. But Detective Kurosawa doesn't probe into that topic. Perhaps he's the type of person who doesn't judge people based on evidence, but gets a feel for them through conversation and actions. How am I reflected in his eyes? I can't help but wonder. Legal dump. Boy, so many options! Although I have a feeling I know which TV we're gonna end up going through. Detective Kurosawa goes inside the Inaba police station while I wait in the car near the junkyard. The familiar sights of Inaba seem strange somehow. The detective in charge of this case must be none other than Dojima-san. Detective Raitora Dojima. Of course, I am familiar with him. And not just through our profession. Basic E4 synopsis, okay. Soon enough, Detective Kurosawa steps out of the station. I thought he was coming back. But halfway to the car, he turns and walks into the junkyard. This is an Dachi pile. He would love this place. Yeah. There's another car parked behind a pile of junk. Distinctive Skrill style. That's Kirijo-san's limousine. I hurriedly pull my head back into the car. That's right, Detective Kurosawa came here to cooperate with Kirijo-san. Still, to bring me along and park so close to her is... And again, it's very unnatural to park far from a rendezvous point. Detective Kurosawa made the right decision. I calm down and slide into the rear seat, keeping my head low. Still, Kirijo-san used that black limousine while undertaking her shadow operative duties as well? That car sticks out like a sore thumb here in Itaba. Heck, it's distinctive anywhere in Japan. Why would someone as clever as Kirijo-san take that car on a special mission like this? Does she have some profound reasoning behind it? After a while, Detective Kurosawa finally comes back to the car.
Kurosawa-san, may I ask you something? Why are you working with public safety?
You're asking that now? I thought that would be your very first question.
Man, Kurosawa, you're like a fine wine, man. You've only gotten better with age. After wiping a dry smile from his face, Detective Kurosawa turns to me with an incredibly serious
You
expression.
can spy on Mitsuru Kirijo and her shadow operatives to your heart's content and never find anything suspicious. But for that to be understood, at some point or another, everything she does has to be investigated to eliminate those doubts. In which case, it's better someone like you do the investigating than someone official who will never understand. That's all there is to it.
So he does have his reasons after all.
Thank you for your cooperation.
I'll leave the rest in your hands.
I exit the vehicle. Kurosawa-san takes his car onto the highway and speeds out of sight. He has no doubts whatsoever regarding Kirijo-san's activities. To be honest, I'm inclined to agree with him, but I can't jump to conclusions without any evidence. I use heaps of junk as cover to sneak close to the limousine and watch. Not long after, I see two people exit the vehicle. One of them is Kirijo-san. However, unlike when I saw her at the airport, she's wearing equipment likely suited for combat. The other person looks strange.
Is that the fabled humanoid weapon?
There was information about a humanoid weapon mixed in with all the data I had about the Kirijo group. When I first saw it, I was confused. But that had to be what was standing in front of me. It seems natural, almost lifelike, but there's no denying it's an artificial construct. It seems that the rumors of an unorthodox anti-shadow unit were true. Another man comes to join them soon. He too was dressed in outlandish attire. He was shirtless, and wore a red cloak like a desert nomad. Perfect example of someone who ought to be detained for questioning. I compare his face to the list of pictures of people involved with the situation. While his taste in clothing has changed, I believe the man is Akihiko Sanada. I can't imagine what would possess him to go about dressed like that, but neither can I. I speculate about their actions. What business do they have here, in a junkyard? There's nothing but a pile of broken household electronics and abandoned televisions. And it hits me. Detective Kurosawa had told Kirijo-san about last year's incident. And of course, she has prior knowledge of personas and shadows. Then, no doubt she's heard of the idea of entering the TV world. After all, it appears many times in the testimony of the killer from last year. Dojima-san may have disregarded it for being too far-fetched, but Detective Kurosawa must have caught on. I take a closer look. There's a mountain of old television sets, victims of last year's switch to digital broadcasts.
They're not planning to enter a TV from here, are they?
Even as I say that, the mechanical girl already has her hand sticking into a TV screen. It's exactly as I thought. The mere fact that they are testing what they had heard so recently cannot bode well. Uncertainty crosses my mind. The three of them are clearly preparing to enter the television. Should I blow my cover and warn them about what they're doing? If they enter, they may not be able to leave. But the other world should no longer be dangerous anymore. And I heard from Yosuke-senpai they asked Teddy to leave the exit TV out, just in case. If they're persona users, they should be able to handle the shadows. They shouldn't be in any peril, but Kirijo-san made a faster decision than I could. Oh, animation? Hey, we actually get an animation, okay.
The other members will wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, they'll be devastated.
Now that you mention it, at least one of us should be staying behind as well.
I am not staying.
Us three will be plenty. We'll end this in a flash. No problem.
The same as always. Although, we have no idea what might be waiting for us on the other side. Don't get careless.
Right.
This situation, it brings back memories.
Ready!
It's interesting that they decided to drop this whole like 3 to 4 to 5 connection so far. Like in all the Persona 5 spin-off games, they never directly crossed over with 3 and 4 outside of PQ2. And that's more of like a
Why enter the TV? What's going on?
there's like it's a spin-off, it's like completely separate. Like this is like technically canon. Golden kind of messes with this timeline a little bit, but it's whatever. But like you can see this being like canon in like connecting 3 and 4, right? And like kind of continuing like the overall plot of the Persona series. But it seems like they've kind of dropped that idea with 5. I do wonder if we'll see that come up again later, but it seems like they've kind of dropped that idea. Because like I said, in all the Persona 5 spin-off games that we've gotten over the years, there hasn't been like a direct connection between 4 and 5 or 3 and 5. There are references and nods and like little things here and there, but there's never been like the Persona 5 cast like we don't have Futaba being like, holy cow, mechanical people are real with like Aegis or whatever, right? And like no matter how old the Persona 3 cast would be in Persona 5 time, Aegis would still be around as long as like she has the parts and stuff to keep herself going. I don't know, it's just interesting. I wonder if they've completely dropped this concept of like keeping an overall plot going with the games. But I guess we'll see. But at this point, I feel like if they were gonna do something connecting P5 to like 4 and 3, they would have done it. I don't know. Maybe. There's still time for them to do a 3, 4, and 5 like crossover game for something in some genre. But yeah.
Is the stolen cargo inside the TV?
Should I chase after them? If I turn back here, we may never be able to find the 3 of them again. If that happens, the truth about the case will be lost forever. If her property was placed into a TV world, it means that whoever stole it knows the truth about last year's events. And if that's the case, I can't ignore this, no matter what my assigned task is. Plus...
Well, if they're determined to enter the TV despite not knowing the risks, I can hardly allow cowardice to prevent me from following.
I realized that the straw breaking the camel's back is not my logic, but my pride. I smiled to myself. But my mind was made up. I stand up, look around, I stand up, look around, and then step inside the same television they used. It's been a while since I've felt this falling sensation. But this time, the sensation seems to continue longer than it did when I would enter a TV as part of the investigation team. Before I know it, the falling has ended. I take cover behind a pillar and look around for the 3 shadow operatives. Did I lose them? We all entered from the same television, so we should have arrived in the same place. I relax a little and take a look around. When I stand up, I notice it. It's difficult to believe. I take a good hard look. This is a school. And not only that, but...
Yasogami High School? What's going on?
This is the gate to the school I attend. The familiar school building is inside. But there is something unfamiliar out in front. There's a stack of strange monitors. They're all displaying the words P1 Grand Prix. This place looks like the real world, but there's something warped about it. It feels like the world is dangerous again, like it was while we were investigating the incident. But this world has returned to the way it was before. While I'm thinking this, students come walking out of the building. They gather together and soon the air is filled with people.
Impossible. How could there be this many people in the TV world?
Suddenly the students surround me and start cheering. I see an all too familiar burst of static play across the monitors. Oh, it's just the, yeah, it's just the intro cutscene again.
Friends,
yet powerful foes.
What did they say, put for Naruto again?
Amongst high school students. A new legend is about to start.
May the manliest of all men come on down!
Nobody touches his precious Nanako, the sister complex kingpin of steel, Yu Narukami!
It's only natural.
Wage slave in the boonies by day, hero by night, Captain Resentiment, Yosuke Hanamura!
Everything that bores me has gotta go!
A spunky dragon with deadly legs, the carnivore whose discarded womanhood, Chie Satonaka!
You need to eat more meat!
Please escort me to the ring, my prince! The unconquerable Snow Black, Yukiko Amagi!
I'll finish you in one strike!
Blooming roses and bulging muscles, the blood-curdling beefcake emperor, Kanji Tatsumi!
Deep into realms of romance,
the body of a child, the brain of a genius, the 2000 IQ killjoy detective, Naoto Shirogane!
Is this an army of idiots?
Fight and survive towards the one throne waiting at the end! The P1 Grand Prix where fierce fights will be fought! The battle begins tonight!
That's still fun. I wanted to watch that at least one more time. Because I think this will probably be the last time it shows.
What?
Since we're on the last character who it involves. Maybe it'll show for the P3 characters, but I somehow doubt it. Killjoy Detective? This shock leaves me dumbfounded for a while. Plus, you senpai sister complex kingpin? Well, it's true that... No. Calm down, Naoto. Calm down and analyze this situation. This otherworldly program where real people's foibles are exaggerated on worldly proportions. The static before the video made it very clear. This broadcast could only be the Midnight Channel. And what's this fighting tournament about? The members of the investigation team are the combatants?
It seemed that Teddy was acting as the host for this.
All of us know that Senpai is coming back to Inaba during Golden Week. Then could this be some kind of way to welcome him back? No. Calling him a sister complex kingpin? That's not a welcome. That's a challenge. Who would publicize a negative nickname like that? Besides, whatever the reason, I can't imagine that someday we would all seriously want us... someone would seriously want us all to fight each other. What's going on? Does it mean that the rest of them are in this TV world as well? Without warning, the sound of the microphone feedback pierces my ears.
Hello, boys and girls of Yasogami! Sorry for the wait!
That voice. That's Rise-san.
The students go wild. On the monitors, a Teddy appears to be wearing some sort of costume.
I'm proud to announce the commencement of our very own P1 Grand Prix!
Looks like Rise-san and Teddy are the ones running this. Do they really plan on holding this P1 Grand Prix?
And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the challenger in our first battle.
If that promotional video is correct, then are the members of the investigation team going to show up? Just as I lean forward to see what's going on, a spotlight shines directly into my face, blinding me.
Naoto Shirogane!
What?
The students around me raise their fists into the air and shout. This is a pickle. It seems I won't be able to chase Kirijo-san down at this rate. First a plane hijacking, and now another unforeseen interruption.
Come on down now, Chan!
Teddy, what is the meaning of this?
Didn't you watch the intro video? It's a fighting tournament!
I gathered as much, but I was asking why you would do such a thing. Pitting friend against friend in battle is going too far for a joke.
It's not a joke, though. I'm giving this 100%, just like I always do. Now get out there now, Chan. Show me everything you've got.
You're not making any sense. Besides, there's...
When I'm speaking, I see the area in front of me twist. I close my eyes at once. When I open them, I see that only certain things around me have been warped by whatever that was. Seen on the monitors, the students around me. I blink and rub my eyes, but I soon realize that my eyes aren't playing tricks on me.
Are these students an illusion someone is creating?
Oh, she saw through it pretty quick. I wonder what that's about. With their skins missing, the students have become dark shapes that only resemble a human form. Are these shadows of some sort? Well, I do find it hard to believe that so many people could have wandered into the TV world. Even if this many people did get in here, the town would be in an uproar over the mass disappearance of so many students. It makes more sense for them to be shadows, but if that's the case, why did I see them as students? Could it be... Hetty and Rise do both have the power to interfere with other people's thoughts, to a certain extent. It may be possible for them to be projecting illusions in my mind, but that would prove that the two of them are really the hosts of this show. I decided not to jump to any conclusions for now. Even if the two of them are behind this, why would they hold a tournament to deceive me with illusions? I won't be able to figure out anything until I determine what their objective is. As I'm considering my next course of action, Teddy, or should I say General Teddy, speaks directly to me.
What are you all fidgety for now, John? You need to powder your nose?
No! Anyway, if this is not a joke, then I assume you won't easily let me go.
Bingo! You have to win the fight if you want to move on. Only the one who makes it to the very end is set free.
This is getting me nowhere. Talking to him isn't helping me figure out what's going on here.
Well then, let's get this started. Bring out the first opponent!
Another spotlight appears across from me. A person steps out of the darkness. It's
been a while, Naoto.
Senpai? Why are you here?
I promised I'd come back during Golden Week. Don't tell me you forgot.
No. Of course I remembered. It's just, I didn't expect to see you here.
I could say the same thing. I heard you couldn't make it because of your job.
Yes. Actually, I'm here on matters related to my work. It came as a surprise to me as well.
Huh. Looks like you're as uninterested in socializing as always.
Huh? What did he just say?
Everyone says that though they think of you as a friend, they never get the same vibe from you.
That's not true. I just happen to be busy with a case. But really, now's not...
Work, work, work. I guess work's all you care about in the end. Even now. I'd say you're more concerned with your work than us. I get it. Hanging out with people outside work is a burden for you. It's like an invasion of your privacy.
Senpai?
He's not the type of person to speak so poorly of others. Is he? Is this an illusion too?
Relax. I'll help get you knocked out of the tournament so you can get back to the work you love so much.
Summoned his persona.
What? Are you serious?
Senpai attacked me with his persona. That wasn't an illusion. It was real. If he'd hit me, I would have seriously been hurt. But now I know something. He's clearly not in his right mind now. The leader of the investigation team I knew would never, under any circumstances, harm his friends.
What a reunion this is turning into. If I must fight you, I will.
Bam, 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 bam.
Finally.
All right, let's see what our basic combo is. Dang. Yeah, I might die once while I try and figure out Naoto's combos.
Okay.
I don't know how her gun mechanic works either, though. It seems like she has ammo for like certain types of attacks, or it affects her combos until she gets a chance to reload them. Okay. Let's try this again.
Finally. Fight!
Okay. There you are. Okay.
Oh shoot.
Over here. I must hit. Okay.
Face out, I hold out, I reach out to the truth. And you let me out, are you satisfied? My shoulders heave as I gasp for breath. I managed to win. The senpai was strong as ever.
Naoto, are you okay?
Yes.
Senpai stands up and offers me his hand as I sit on the ground. Despite the fact that he was hurt worse than I was, the look in his eyes shows that he's seriously worried about me. He's a completely different person than the person I saw before the battle. Yes, this is the person I know.
Thank goodness.
Huh?
I mean, are you all right too, Senpai? I'm sorry for hurting you, even though the circumstances demanded it.
Oh, everything's fine here. You're back to the usual Naoto, I see.
The usual?
What's that supposed to mean? I wonder about the use of the word usual, but there are more important matters at hand.
Can you tell me what's going on here?
Okay. I'm at a loss for words. Midnight Channel started to air again. P1 Grand Prix, apparently, shown a few times. That video, it was shown all over town. No. Now's not the time to let that sort of thing discourage me. According to you, Senpai, not only did the Midnight Channel make a comeback, but several of us, Kanji-kun, Teddy, and Rise-san, have gone missing. Senpai and the others entered the TV at Junest to investigate this.
I was shocked to see it looking completely different than before.
Indeed. But it seems, at least in part, to be an illusion.
Really?
In fact, the students gathered to watch our battle were not real.
Oh, yeah. They did seem like shadows, but different somehow. I didn't get the sense that they were hostile, though.
I thought that Rise-san and Teddy might have been illusions too, but both have gone missing. And given their persona abilities...
I cut myself off. Senpai shakes his head in response.
It's possible that that really was them. But we should have faith. If our enemy can use illusions, they might be victims as well.
You're right. I can at least have more faith in my friends than that.
I raise my head to look at Senpai, who's watching me. Our eyes meet and I hurriedly look away.
Speaking of which, why are you here, Naoto?
There's the question. Well, it's only natural. But I'm here on business, not anything personal. I cannot disclose the details of my investigation. Not only are there rules, but if I spoke up, I would end up getting him involved. I have to avoid that at all costs. And as I'm deciding what to say...
Hey, you know, forget I asked. I'm just happy to see you again.
Me too. Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the matter now?
I mean, well, about me being unsociable. Please understand that it's not because my work is more important than my friends.
Huh? I've never thought that about you at all. I don't think any of us have.
Senpai.
Alrighty, time to break up your little chat.
Nah.
Teddy?
I was really enjoying seeing Naoto and you get along. They do have good chemistry. I do enjoy Naoto's social link in P4.
Now Chan wins! Very impressive beating up the almighty sensei.
Then again, you have good chemistry with literally everyone. That's kind of the point.
But now it's time for you to go on. Your next opponent's already waiting.
When his speech is over, the monitor shuts off. Next opponent, huh? I'd rather not continue this charade, but I have to push forward in order to get a hold on the situation.
Well then, we should get going.
You, Senpai, nods reassuringly. I sense a sense of relief welling up within me. I can't let my guard down, but knowing that Senpai is with me to help me face whatever lies ahead, I know I have nothing to fear. Or so I thought. Senpai is walking next to me when he suddenly stops.
What the? An invisible wall? What is this? And how come you can pass through?
A wall? There's nothing there. I waved my hand through the place where Senpai said he couldn't pass through, but I don't feel anything. But Senpai doesn't look like he's faking it. The monitor turns on again. Teddy's face fills the screen.
Did I forget to tell you? Only the winner can move on to the next fight. No one's getting out of this school until a champion's been crowned. Only the one who fights to the very end and comes out on top can leave.
I will say, I feel like the script was written before any of the, visuals were made or anything. Which makes sense. But I feel like some of the, narration about, the TV turning on should have just been, in-game. You didn't need those last two lines where it's talking about like the TV turning on and Teddy being on the screen. You just turn on the screen and there's Teddy, you know? You didn't need that extra narration.
So neither opponent can leave the area unless they fight each other. You go on ahead, Naruto. I'll try and find a way to catch up.
Very well. Be careful, Senpai.
I will. See you later.
I'm hesitant to leave Senpai behind, but it can't be helped. I'd like to try to destroy the wall, but there's nothing I can do if I can't touch it. With Senpai smiling at me, I decide to go on ahead. It looks like no matter how many people I fight, I'll have to progress by myself. Okay. After some time walking, I run smack into something, even though there's nothing there. I didn't understand what was going on at first, but I soon came to realize something. So this is one of those invisible walls Senpai was talking about. Seems like some of them won't allow anyone to pass, no matter who wins the fights. It's completely transparent. The only way to know it's there is to feel its glass-like smoothness. I have no choice but to take a detour. But time after time, these walls keep getting in my way. I'm not choosing my path, I'm being herded. I suppose I'm following some plan laid out by whoever set all this up. After I open the door of the gym, I see a space cleared away. For that. As I expected, General Teddy appears on the monitor.
You're so slow now, Chan. Your second opponent's been waiting for you.
I've said it before, but I don't intend to fight my friends.
Alrighty, let's do this. Bring out the next opponent.
Yo, how's it hanging now, doll?
Oh, jeez. Why isn't there a male navigator yet? I think probably because navigators are inherently not combatants. And so it tends to be more of a female role.
Kanji-kun?
Well, he certainly looks like Kanji-kun, but it only looks that way.
You know, I've been thinking, the way you talk is so lame.
Huh?
I thought I was ready to face anyone, but this doesn't matter being in my right mind or not. Is this an illusion? Oh, please let this one be an illusion.
It's like way too uptight and goody-goody. Makes you sound so distant, you dig?
Is that so?
See, that's what I'm talking about. You could have just said, oh, you think so?
You think so?
Ah, now you're getting it. Now I feel like I'm on your wavelength.
Thanks. Then again, relatability aside, I feel like you were miles away from me to begin with.
Hey, you're doing it again. What's with the Miss Manners act?
I'm sorry. It's a habit of mine.
Or maybe it's that you don't care about getting close to us, huh? You don't feel like you gotta bother getting to know us and stuff?
Of course I don't think... Hell no, man.
You never warm up to anyone because you set your standards so goddamn high.
Oh dear, he's shown his true self.
Is it, you know what? Are you putting on a show of not letting anyone near you because you got no confidence in yourself? Is that it?
Kanji-kun.
This may be false accusations, but some of those statements are hitting home. I can't brush off these words, and my heart aches.
Why are you so nervous? Your height? Your body? That girly voice?
Let me give you a little lesson in manliness. I hope you're ready for the pain I'm bringing.
This is insanity.
Wait a second. I didn't say any... Ugh.
Final. Fight!
Do it! My card. There you are. Okay. There.
You're completely on the offensive.
Get down! This'll hurt! Don't just lie there!
There.
Nothing!
Will they push you?
You ain't bad! You ain't bad!
Okay.
You gotta be ready for this! Get down! This'll hurt!
Please.
My card. Eat this! The hell? Nothing! My card. Get down! This'll hurt!
Will it all be over in moments?
You think about
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, but when would the Japanese police force give their police officers effective weapons? Come on. That's like saying British police officers should have more than a stick and a shield.
Kanji-kun, are you all right?
Of course I am. Your attacks are like little bug bites. I just let my guard down, that's all.
I don't know if he's acting tough or trying to be courteous to me, but at least he's back to the usual Kanji-kun. The usual Kanji-kun. Usual? Wait, didn't you Senpai say that too? Well, at the very least, it seems that the spell is broken once the battle ends. I let out a sigh of relief. Still, for some reason, Kanji-kun has yet to look this way.
Are you really okay? I was told that the others lost contact with you, so how did you come to be here?
How? Well, it was a change of pace?
Oh, right, he's terrible with girls.
You came into the TV for a change of
And
pace?
especially Nato.
Did something happen? I'm willing to listen if you'd like to talk about it.
Something to talk about. I mean, wait, not that I don't.
All right. Good luck getting any information out of Nato.
Like, it's not that I do.
He couldn't if he wanted to.
That I don't want to. Anyways, there's just sometimes a man wants to go inside a TV by himself.
I'm not sure I follow.
This is date already. Seriously, yeah. I do think that, like, out of all the, like, shipping stuff, I do feel like these two suit each other the most. And it was the most hinted at out of any of the relationships between party members. That it was like, yeah, they probably would get together if it wasn't for the fact that you, as the MC, you're able to date Naoto.
Off my back, will you? I didn't come in here because I like it. Actually, no. That is why I came. Because I like this place.
He's so all over the place. When Kanji-kun turns around, his face is red, but with anger or something else.
I just don't understand why you're being so loud about it and blushing so fiercely.
I wasn't blushing.
You are blushing.
Besides, it was all your fault. You're the one that was, well, being all,
You know? It's the only ship that the fandom actually likes. Not true. It's the only ship that enough of the fandom can agree on. There are plenty of people who like plenty of other ships. It's just that nobody can agree on them.
Me? What are you talking about?
You want me to come out and say it? Jeez. I thought you'd gone crazy because of that.
Me? Crazy? You were the one who was acting oddly, calling me now doll and whatnot.
Now doll? Why would I call you that?
Wait a second. Acting strangely.
I saw Kanji-kun as if he'd gone mad, and he saw me as the same. And yet both of us claimed that we hadn't actually gone crazy. I get it now. That's why you, Senpai, called me the usual Naoto.
Of course. An illusion.
Huh?
I believe we were both under the illusion that the other had lost their mind. That's why neither of us remembers saying what the other heard.
Illusions, huh?
It must be a scheme to make friends fight each other. But if that's the case...
It's not as simple as the person I have to fight being crazy. You, Senpai, and Kanji-kun both said things that dig deep into my personal problems. If these are illusions, then whoever's creating them has to be someone who knows us.
The ability to interfere with other senses, the prior knowledge of us, putting it all together, it must be.
Must be what?
The Teddy acting as the tournament's host, as well as Rise-san. Must be genuine.
You moron, there's no way it's them.
I look up at Kanji-kun in surprise.
That Ted and Rise are fakes. Come on. They're not twisted like that. You of all people ought to know.
Yeah, Adachi's not to the sequel. Come on, we gotta save Adachi for Ultimax. He doesn't have any proof, but his unshakable trust sets me at ease. Even if I told him that Rise-san and Teddy are both missing, I'm sure his answer wouldn't change.
Who else then?
Well, you know, there is someone here besides us. I saw her on my way here. Some girl with long hair.
A girl. Did she happen to be wearing a white fur shawl and combat gear?
It was
beneath
Nautico. It was Nautico the whole time. You know, I'm so sad that one of the things I lost in the great PC purge of 2023 was that image I made of Adachi's face on Nanako. I can remake it. It just took me a while. I'm so sad I lost that. It was such a good thing for that thumbnail. Gosh darn it.
What are you talking about? She had on a normal Yasuo girl's uniform and her hair was like tied back.
A female student with tied back hair? I don't recall anyone like that.
I thought he might have run into Kirijo-san, but that doesn't appear to have been the case. That girl Kanji-kun's talking about a suspect? Can't tell for sure.
I'll keep it in mind. Well, I should be moving on.
Hold on, I'll come with... Wait, what the hell?
Ah, the invisible walls again. Just like last time, I can't touch it myself.
The rules seem to dictate that only the victor can proceed. I'll come for you later.
Don't bother. I'll figure this out myself somehow. That aside, you beat me. You better make sure you're the champion in the end.
That's completely irrelevant to the larger objective.
I leave Kanji-kun behind and push on ahead. We're being shown illusions that portray our opponents as having lost their senses. But why is the host of this tournament going to such elaborate lengths? Obviously, it's to get people who know each other to fight, but is that the only goal? Still, I wonder how I had appeared to Senpai and Kanji-kun. I'm not that worried about Senpai, but thinking about Kanji-kun's reaction, how he had blushed, it's burning a hole in my stomach. Did we ever see Naoto when we were playing as Kanji? I don't think we did. Because we fought against Chie, I think we just fought against the starter four, right? Chie, Yukiko, oh shoot, the friend, and then you, right? So I don't think we've, maybe Teddy, but I don't think we fought against Naoto, so. As I walk down the hall, I come to another likely location for a match. Just as I figured, Teddy appears on the screen.
Your next opponent is a special guest. We've got a lady jumping in on the fun. It'll be a big emotional reunion for you now, Chan.
Could it be?
Bring out the next opponent!
Kirijo?
Kirijo-san.
Yeah.
Shirogane, why are you here? I thought you were...
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon.
The purpose of this event is to have the participants fight, and because there's only one path to take, I figured we'd run into each other sooner or later. Never imagined that would be this early on, though. No, there's something else I need to be concerned with. Like the previous times, the opponents will not be seeing each other correctly. With that in mind, I watch her closely, and as I expected, I see a change in her. Mitsuru Kirijo-san's face twists into an expression of contempt, and her composure shatters.
To say I'm surprised to see you here would be an understatement.
I don't reply. There's no point in saying anything, after all.
The silent treatment. How ridiculous that you, who lives a lie, would dig up other people's hidden secrets for a living. You seem gentle, but you maintain an aloof distance that keeps people at arm's length. I've thought that since our first meeting. At first, I thought it must be typical of a detective. But that doesn't seem to be the case. You simply lack confidence in yourself.
I have some trouble staying silent.
You hide your true nature because you know that once you grow close to someone, you'll no longer be able to protect your pride. That's why you won't let anyone in. You use your job as a pretext to keep your distance and never get too attached. And it's from that position that you're trying to discover what others are hiding? How contradictory. Not to mention completely ridiculous and unfair.
I clench my fists in spite of myself.
Persona.
Kirijo-san's relentless words. Even if only an illusion, I begin to feel that if I lose, I'll never be able to look her in the eye again. I cannot lose here.
I'd dearly like to answer your charges, but I see no need. There is no reason to defend myself against the accusations of an illusion.
It's still funny to me that the weights on all the girls are question marks.
Final.
Oh, hello. What's the skull mechanic? What, did she have an auto win mechanic if the skull gets down to 0 or something? If that skull hits 0 and Naruto uses Hamayon, it's an instant win. Oh, okay.
Seems you're a skilled fighter.
Is it because she's weak to Hamon? I didn't see that with other characters. Maybe I just didn't see it.
And a persona user as well, huh?
With that, Kirija-san stands up.
I'd like to clear something up. Before our battle, I may have said or done some things that seemed disrespectful, but
I understand. We were shown illusions to goad us into fighting each other.
So you already knew. You are a credit to the Shirogane name, then. In that case, well, I'm willing to forget all the things you said about my body.
Wait, what? Her body? What did Illusionary me say?
Though, if you're a persona user, that gives weight to 2 of my theories.
Okay. Kirija-san looks straight at me.
One is that you were one of those who solved last year's serial murders. A few proud anonymous heroes.
I shrug. And then I brace myself for the other shoe to drop. I know what she's about to say.
The other is that you are one of my enemies. You were an observer at the hijacking, which means a persona user was sent specifically, yet you hid that from me. Somehow I doubt you were there just to watch over the cargo. If my suspicions aren't off base, then there's something I must say.
In all honesty, I feel like I have no defense for what's about to happen next. I begin to try to find a way to make it through this conversation without ruining whatever goodwill I may still have with her. But Kirija-san's next words take me completely by surprise.
Shirogane, can I ask for your cooperation once again?
What?
You know more about this world than I do, and since I lost our match, I will be unable to move on from here.
Wait a moment. I thought you distrusted me.
Even if I did, is continuing to oppose each other the wisest course of action?
I have no words. Kirija-san smiles as she watches me. Her proposal completely surprised me. My surprise must have confirmed what she was thinking about me. She knew that I'm not the type of person who would become her enemy under normal circumstances. That's why she smiled. I'm no match for her. She's on a completely different level than I am. It's not a matter of social rank. She simply has the type of personality that makes people want to follow her. Kirija-san doesn't wait for me to answer and continues.
As you have guessed, we are here in pursuit of the stolen cargo. Upon investigation, we figured out that it contained the 5th-generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris. She was a machine, developed as one of a series of test models. They were intended to receive personas in order to combat shadows.
Isn't a persona the manifestation of one's strength of heart? How could a machine be capable of using a persona?
You're right to ask that. Labris has a mind of her own. We don't know what she looks like, but it's probably very close to human.
A humanoid machine? I did see something fitting that description before I came through to the TV world. So that was a weapon devised by the Kirijo group. A humanoid robot. One with a heart at that. This is the fruits of Kirijo's technology, created from the research of shadows. I cannot help but be surprised. However, if the culprits were specifically after this Labris weapon, there's a high probability that's been removed from its case and is mobile. But I can't fathom how that would benefit the thieves. There is one thing I can deduce, though.
Around the time of the robbery, we began to see activity in this world as well. I doubt this is a coincidence. I feel sure that your Labris is connected to this ridiculous tournament.
I agree.
Before I know what I'm doing, I reach out to shake hands with Kirijo-san.
I accept your earlier proposal. And I think I'd best hurry.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. Your friends must be facing their own troubles. It's possible that they've met Labris without knowing it, too.
They'll be all right, I'm sure.
The record showed that Labris had some unknown experimental equipment. We don't know what she's capable of. Don't take her lightly.
Oh, no. That isn't what I meant. She has a heart, yes? Then fighting her isn't our only option. She can be saved. I'm sure the others will reach the same conclusion.
I see.
When I say that, I can see a smile on her face. I can tell she believes in her friends as well.
Oh, yes, I meant to ask. Have you been able to contact your friends?
I shake my head.
No. 2 of them have analysis-capable personas, but both of them have gone missing.
I actually have a few powers in that area myself. Can you tell me what these friends of yours look like?
I give her as detailed description of Rise, San, and Teddy as I can. Well, didn't she see them on the monitors? That would help.
Huh. A bear costume and a girl. Are they...
Yes. They're the ones acting as hosts for this tournament. But they're not usually like this.
I see. Well, anyway, knowing that will make searching for them easier. Let me see.
Kirijo-san focuses and closes her eyes. I'm glad they didn't overlook that. Like, if they hadn't mentioned the fact that, Mitsuru has the capability of scanning a little bit, then it would have been an obvious oversight, at least from my opinion. Because, like, she's the navigator for, like, the first little bit of P3. So it makes sense that she's able to scan at least a little bit. She's not as good as, like, Naoto, obviously. Or, sorry, not Naoto. So many names. Fuka. But, you know, or Rise, but she should be good enough to be able to scan in a local area. It may be only a few powers, but still quite amazing.
I'm getting a match some ways from here. It's not moving either. Aha! I found her.
P3 music. Sorry. It's just weird seeing like P4 aesthetics with P3 music. They're just very different vibes.
Can you hear me?
Huh? Who is this?
Voice.
My name is Mitsuru Kirijo. I'm with one of your friends, Shirogane.
Kirijo-san looks at me and nods. She's communicating to me that Rise-san can hear my voice as well.
Rise-san!
Naoto-kun, is it really you?
Yes, though I could ask the same of you, Rise-san.
I'm so glad. This weird fake Teddy kidnapped me and then everyone was fighting each other and...
I think we've heard that line from Rise the most out of any other line. So Rise-san's voice on the PA system was a fake. If that's the case, then there's no reason to believe that the image of Teddy on the monitors is the real thing either.
It's all right. Please calm down. Do you know where you are right now?
It looks like an announcement room, but there are these invisible walls stopping me from leaving. Plus, the fake Teddy is watching me, so I can't use my persona.
I don't know who that fake Teddy is, but it seems that Rise-san and the real Teddy were kidnapped to deprive us as a means of communication. In other words, to keep us fooled while we were in this world. Then again, that explains nothing about whatever objective could be gained by doing this to us. I haven't questioned the culprit's identity, but it is somebody with an extensive knowledge of the P4 cast. And with the knowledge of what was being transported. Because not only do they know enough about the TV world, but they also know about the school that they all go to, and they also know, hey, I should target the like people who can scan things because they could be an issue. Because they targeted Rise and Teddy and like shoved them in, kidnapped them or got rid of them so that they wouldn't be an issue. You don't have to say anything. In fact, don't say anything. Because I don't want to know what the answer is yet, but I just haven't put much thought into who the culprit is yet before this. I guess maybe once I get some more context on the hijacking, maybe I'll be able to make some more conclusions. Certainly by the time I think of the end of the P3 cast, I should have a better idea of what's going on, but yeah. How does Labrys's existence tie into this?
Oh, right. Thanks. Kirijo-san, right? Wait, Kirijo? I know that name. That's not important now. Are you a persona user too?
Yes, but we can discuss that later. I sense a shadow-like presence very close to your position. Are you all right?
The only thing near here is the fake Teddy. Wait, is that what you're talking about?
So it's a shadow.
I was hesitant to make a decision. Kirijo-san does not know Teddy. Of course, she wouldn't know his origins. Even if the general was the real Teddy, she would probably think of him as a shadow if she didn't know better. But if the general is merely something else that's taking on his appearance, it leads to a completely different conclusion. That is, it's a shadow from a normal human who doesn't have any tolerance for this world. If that's the case, why is this shadow mimicking Teddy? I don't have enough pieces to begin solving this puzzle yet. While I'm in the process of thinking through things, though, Kirijo-san speaks up.
Shirogane, you need to hurry on. I'll try to maintain communication as best I can and keep you in the loop.
All right then, I'm off. Stay safe.
I nod back to her and start running. Onward. To the announcement room where Rise-san is being held. Okay. We should have at least one more fight before then, though. Yeah. As I hurry on, led by the invisible walls, I reach a classroom. I'll be forced into fighting into another fight here, no doubt.
Looks like you're chugging right along. And now another special guest for you. The gloves may be off putting you up against this one, so I want to see your best moves out there, Nachan. Now, bring out the next opponent!
Yeah, Akihiko. I see a silhouette framed in the spotlight. It's... well, how could I forget that attire?
You're Akihiko Sanada, as I recall.
Interesting. I've been gone for a while, and here I meet a stranger who knows who I am.
Oh, I think I've seen this conversation before. It's the protein conversation.
You're a member of Mitsuru Kirijo's organization. Her friend, actually, no?
Oh, I see. So it's really Mitsuru you're interested in. Ace Detective.
His words caused me to tense up. He just called me Ace Detective. Perhaps that was just a guess from my family name Shirogane. But he could know that I'm spying on them for the police. I carefully search his eyes for anything that might tell me how he knows. How much he knows. He looks me over from head to toe, and then immediately sneers mockingly.
Jeez, look at you. You have the physique of a 12-year-old.
What?
A detective needs a strong body more than a strong brain. All-night research sessions, long stakeouts. You need stamina for that. But look at those twiggy arms and legs of yours. You've got an overdeveloped chest, but from the looks of it, I'd say it's all fat and no muscle. Seriously.
What?
What is wrong with him? That's the part of my self-image I'm the most sensitive
Let
about.
me teach you the secret to bodybuilding. First thing, protein.
Second thing, protein. Third, fourth, and fifth, more protein.
Don't you think that's rather unbalanced?
Sanada-san flexes his muscles like a bodybuilder.
And finally, you gotta spar. 1, 2.
This conversation makes more sense knowing now that it's just an illusion, but yeah, it's still funny. He said sparring, but that punch was meant to do some serious damage. It's absurd. I mean, he literally breaks through a wall in one of the, with, like, kanji in hand in one of the scenarios, so. However, putting this unhinged talk aside, his skill as a fighter isn't something I should take lightly. In fact, doesn't he like break through multiple walls because he figures out like the invisible walls aren't where the actual walls are, so he just starts pounding through brick walls to get to the announcer room faster at some point. And then in like one of the other ones, he like jumps out the window into the void and starts like climbing up the side of the building. Yeah, just slightly. Shoot, I can't dodge them all.
Stop it, Akihiko!
Mitsuru?
Sanada-san suddenly stops as a familiar voice echoes through the room.
You're under the effects of an illusion. Shirogane has done nothing. Do not attack.
What do you mean? He's the one who attacked me all of a sudden.
I attacked.
Suddenly I remember. That's right. This is all an illusion. I've never met Sanada-san before, so I don't know what his usual self is supposed to be. On top of that, I allowed the first thing he said to get under my skin. How stupid of me. I let myself get swapped up in this situation and fail to realize what was really happening.
From my perspective, it was you who dealt the first blow. We were both being shown an illusion to make us fight each other.
Shirogane is an excellent detective and a persona user. I told him everything. He's agreed to cooperate with us. He was originally on the scene as a police observer in this case,
he doesn't know.
We've already met.
Rija-san and I explained to Sanada-san what's been happening up till now. It's a relief that, despite his appearance, he's actually quite a reasonable man and quick to pick up on things.
That noise-like phenomenon that fogs your senses is already gone. You should be able to communicate normally now.
We introduce ourselves and shake hands.
Looks like I fell for a cheap trick.
I'm sorry for forgetting myself, too. I can't even claim to have been unaware of the deception.
So you're a persona user, huh? Well, since fate already brought us together, want to test your skills before you move on?
Sanada-san slammed his fists together.
Akihiko, you're doing it again. Just cooperate with him.
All right. Come on, Naoto. Let's go.
Oh, wait, the tournament rules say...
As Sonata-san walks away, as I figured, he hit the
Are you
wall.
all right?
What's the matter? What happened?
I don't know. There's some kind of invisible wall here.
The rules dictate that only the winner of each match can advance. So,
He was flustered mere seconds ago, but now Sonata-san has taken on a more lively expression.
So we need to have a match, even though we've got nothing against each other. We're fighting after all then, huh? All right then. Come at me.
please go easy on me.
I could almost hear Kirijo-san sigh in exasperation. You're doing it again is crazy? Sorry, not sure. Doing what again?
Final. Fight!
I'm a hit! Assault, man, hit! Okay. There. Assault! Okay. There. There. Assault, how about this? Okay. I'm a hit! There.
Ah, he's got a counter. Okay.
I'm not giving up.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I missed that.
Do it!
Now, will they go for the kill?
Okay. That's fine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he was trying to get into a fight with her, even though he didn't know that he had to get into a fight with her. He was like, hey, you want to spar? And Mitsuru's like, now's not the time for sparring. Yeah.
That was a great bout. You're good.
But as it turns out, it was indeed time for sparring.
About?
What an annoying rule.
Wait a second. That reminds me. I saw that guy calling himself General walking with a girl. If only one person can move on, that's against the rules.
Fake Teddy and Rise-san were together all this time. Then could the girl he would be talking about be Rise-san? No.
Do you remember the details of what this girl looked like?
Oh, it's just normal Teddy, though. It's not the fake one, but Akihiko wouldn't know that. So Sonata-san tells me about the girl he's seen. What he said matches the description of the unknown girl Kanji-kun had talked about, which means that there's a high probability that the person he's seen walking with her was not the general, but the real Teddy. Okay, she figured it out at least. At the very least, this is evidence against the argument that Teddy is the general. This creates another theory, though. If the general is not really Teddy, then he's someone else's shadow. And there's only one person that fits that bill. Well, not person per se, but...
If that girl was Labris, then, well, is it possible we're dealing with her shadow?
That's right, Labris. If she has a heart capable of using a persona, then it stands to reason that she could create a shadow. In light of how the events of last year played out, it makes perfect sense. She was kidnapped by someone who threw her into the TV world, creating a reflection of her heart.
None of the data I have shows any connection between Labris and Yasagami High. On top of which, I don't see how she'd know about you or your friends.
I'd been having doubts about that as well, but at least I have a feel of what's going on. What Labris' kidnapper hoped to gain from this remains unknown. However, at any rate, it wouldn't be good if the shadow were to run into its owner. Either way, it's best if I head to the announcement room. It's much more logical to restrain the false Teddy, since I know his location, than it would be to have to search for Labris somewhere in this world. Still, if that really is Teddy with Labris, why are they traveling together?
Sheesh, what's that Teddy doing? I'm sorry I can't help much, Kirijo-san.
You'll have to forgive me for my meager skills as well. My persona's communication powers are more for operational assistance. A friend of mine from school was much stronger than myself in that respect, but...
I think you can actually fight as, at least, Rise and Ultimax. Not sure about Fuka, but at least Rise, I think, is playable as a fighter, yeah?
Oh no, it's all that stupid bear's fault anyway. He's a real genius for making people worry.
Man, it's strange running into so many Persona users I've never heard of all at once. I gotta say, brings back memories.
For us, too. We were as surprised as you. Not to say that the possibility of other Persona users hadn't crossed our minds, but to actually meet them.
What you said about a friend from school kinda reminds me of us, too. What was school like for you? I'd like to hear about it.
Well, ignoring Akihiko's current appearance, he was a boxing champion in his student days.
Hey, that dig was uncalled for.
No, no, no. You are not wearing a shirt, my friend. That dig was totally called for.
After that, I don't know what went through his brain, but he started saying he wanted to search for stronger opponents.
He went on a journey to hone his skills? I thought that only happened in comics and old samurai films.
I thought I had to do it, so I did it. That's all.
The peaceful moment was shattered by Kirijo-san's voice.
Wait, what's this I'm sensing? It's like a shadow, but bigger.
Another shadow presence. It isn't the false Teddy?
Huh? What's going on? That fake Teddy left the announcement room.
Yeah, it was very called for. Akihiko versus Kiryu, who wins? I feel like it would be a bit of a draw. Unless Akihiko used his persona, but he wouldn't use that against somebody who doesn't have persona powers. Then again, like... Kiryu is, like, kind of got supernatural power of his own, like with the flames literally coming off of his body as he gets more into it. Rise-san made a report immediately after that. Sonata-san and I look at each other. Seems like the situation is changing. Sonata-san nods to me and I take a small bow and I run off. Okay. With no one watching over anymore, Rise-san was able to summon her persona. The job of providing support moved from Kirijo-san, who not all of us knew, to Rise-san. Rise-san contacted the rest of us and let us talk to each other for a moment.
Rise-chan? Oh, thank God you're safe! Don't worry, the others are here too. We'll rescue you in no time.
Wait, why is Naoto here?
I can't help but smile at this as I tell them about the others I had seen so far. It seems we're all safe for now. And now that we can communicate, we've greatly increased our awareness of the situation and our ability to share information. The General must have known that leaving Rise-san alone would have resulted in this. If he did know, but left her anyway, then there must have been something major happening. Either that, or he no longer has any reason to hide. I hurry on while we share what we know. The actual design of this place may differ from the real Yasogami High School, but the general layout appears to be the same. Because I'm not sure about, with Akihiko, because, like, he was a boxer, which is a sport, but, like, he also has, like, fought in life or death situations, and, like, I think he canonically talks about fighting a bear at least once when he fights Teddy, right? So he's at least fought an actual bear. And he seems to have the scars to prove it. So, which I'm sure Kiryu has also fought a bear at some point, but, like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like the power level's about the same there. So if I climb the stairs and turn the corner, the announcement room should be right there. However, Rise-san calls out a warning before I can get there.
Bad news, Naoto-kun. The fake Teddy's back.
I mean, if it was Majima would shoot him or stab him, but Kiryu wouldn't do that, so.
I'm too late.
Huh? What the? Is that the real Teddy? Hey, the real Teddy's here too. He's got some girl with him. I don't know her.
The fact that Rise's communication didn't get off once General Teddy reappeared is somewhat worrisome. Then again, General Teddy doesn't really have time to bother watching Rise-san. After all, if the real Teddy and Labras are both right there as well, he has more important things to be concerned with. This confirms that General Teddy is a fake. It's only natural then to assume that he is Labras' shadow in disguise. That only makes things more dangerous. Labras and her shadow are confronting each other. Rise-san should know the dangers of the situation, but she doesn't know Labras. She might not realize what the relationship is between the girl and the shadow. I have to warn her, but before I can speak, it happened.
Wait, what's with that girl?
Sad gets worse.
Rise-san? Rise-san!
Why can't I communicate her when we're so close? There's something happening in the announcement room. I run as fast as I can towards it. As I reach the door, I hear a loud scream from the inside. I slam the door open without a second thought and prepared for a fight. But the attack came from an unexpected assailant. Of anyone in that room, I wouldn't have thought it would be I guess maybe? The plot thickens. Yes. Yet another, yet another cliffhanger. All right, let's start with some of the P3 cast. We'll see. I think we can get at least through Mitsuru today. We'll see if we can get through the other, at least one of the other two, but might just save those for next Tuesday. Late November in the year 2010. The darkness fell without warning.
Hey, what happened?
So there's a blackout. I'm just trying to see if this is recapping P3 stuff or not. Once his eyes began to adjust to darkness, he was able to faintly make out an area around that light. Oh, and then we go back through and actually get the endings? Okay. The shining spot was revealed a strangely decorated box, one that the man had only just delivered to the forensics unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
Called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see at the window before him. As the shape resolved, he saw it was not a person, a shadow at all. He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Okay. Right, dark hour.
What are these? What's going on?
Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off.
What the?
Door's locked.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
Oh, there's a ring in the box. While handing it over to forensics, he suspected that they might be a ring. So check the theory, he put one on. And now the ring was emitting the same eerie light as the box. Though he still had no idea what was going on, it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with sweat-slicked fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. But just at that moment...
I wouldn't take that off right now.
What?
The man can't help but gasp. He looked around but could sense no one inside the room with him. Where had the voice come from?
I'll be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
Oh, so he was rescued by Mitsuru and he's still sus of her? Okay. That random guy was Kanji when I wasn't looking? Yeah.
Who's there?
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
Oh, well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival of 10 in the morning. Normally, most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected, with a key figure from the Kirijo Group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
Kirijo Group was a major trading firm, synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business. Not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that struck 10 bore the logo of the Kirijo Electronics, and KJ was the carrier for the cell phone provided to every member of the force. A few days ago, the same Kirijo Group had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters."
Well, it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Upon consideration, it was decided that the Kirijo Group should be invited in to give us their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spreading tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police's interest in humoring the Kirijo Group lay elsewhere. The Kirijo Group had offered an incentive whereby if the police agreed to the meeting, they would provide a detailed list of the ergonomics research lab's artifacts, as well as actual samples. It was this that drove the officials' decision. For there had been dark rumors bandied about the Kirijo Group over the last 10 years. While still a family-run business, some said the old man Katsu Kirijo had delved into paranormal research and was performing inhumane experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumor and had prepared many times to force an investigation. But every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those who working on the case to no end. The investigation's prime target was the infamous Ergo Research, the Corrijo Ergonomics Research Lab. Exposing Corrijo Group's dark side had been a dream of public safety for 10 years now, and now Corrijo seemed willing to hand over Ergo Research tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about-face, but neither did anyone think of turning them down. They agreed to the summit not to hear out whatever proposal Corrijo was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed, and the agreed-upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over and bringing in the artifacts from the Corrijo group. Though he would not speak with the guest, the police's plan afforded him a major responsibility, one that gave him something like a leading role. It wasn't long before the Corrijo car arrived in the underground Port Korsh. The staff that there to receive the guests only shrugged as the long black limousine that would have turned heads on the main road. One of the youngest recruits looked towards the man and asked a question.
Chief, what's with that car?
But that was the least of the surprises in store. When the Corrijo group representative stepped out of the limousine, she revealed to be a beautiful young woman, older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women roughly her age. It seemed mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo Group. It's nice to meet you.
Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
The young recruit who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eye muttered in spite of himself.
Their proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
But in truth, the man felt the same way. Certainly this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated, but even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. Eventually, the dignitaries entered the agency along with Miss Corrijo. All of them wore lopsided smiles due to the young lady's beauty, the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. Their true objective was loaded in the truck parked behind the limousine, the documents and artifacts of Ergo Research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Corrijo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various size, with even a few that came in oversized metallic containers for aerial transport. The Corrijo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanations were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects, and even send them to a lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
We have dangerous materials in these. Don't open them until I tell you what's in them. I'm gonna open it. Are you sure about that? I'm gonna open it. Okay.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle.
That's why they're trying to tell you what's in there.
Unless there's real monsters inside these things.
The articles were brought in silence. The operation only lasted about 15 minutes. The man himself received the last item, about the size of a jewelry box, and checked the truck to make sure nothing went overlooked before closing it up. That done, he turned and walked away quickly towards the forensic room. Try though he might to maintain his composure, he couldn't contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Corrijo group had been a frustrating legend, like mist between the department's fingers. Their chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing, or the victims of the unsolved cases, victory would be theirs. The man tried to tamp down his exhilaration and took another look at the small box he held. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center held a number of small, circular trinkets. Their usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring on the clerk's finger and came to a realization.
Huh. Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. At least put gloves on. I was gonna say, if you're just like handling evidence without gloves, and you want to get fingerprints and DNA off that thing? After looking at it from every angle, its color and shape seemed to be nothing but ordinary. If it was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in lab coats slaving away in a lab to create rings like this. The moment that unlikely impossibility came to his mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his own ignorance of fashion accessories. But as soon as he reached for the small box to put the ring back inside...
Please step away from the door.
Where'd this ice come from?
Are you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
Then this happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
The Dark Hour?
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
The Dark Hour. If you recall correctly, okay. Yep, explanation of Dark Hour.
So you're saying those stories in that document?
Well, I gotta skip some of the stuff. If I want to get through a whole nother story, I gotta skip some of the stuff. Some of the stuff is just summary, you know? It's just like, hey, people who haven't played Persona 3, here's how the Dark Hour works. Hey, people who haven't played Persona 4, here is the basic synopsis of Persona 4. 6 times. Every single time you play as one of the P4 characters, they have to...
Stuff was actually for real?
They have to, like, give a basic description of what's happening with P4. Also, there's a little bit too much explanation dialogue in this. I was talking about this before, but it seems like they wrote the script and then they made the game, but they didn't take out any of the dialogue or like text describing what's happening, even though it happens on screen. So for example, there was some text where it's like, the TV turns on, Teddy's on the screen. Why did we need 2 lines of text for that? It's literally just, you turn the TV on and Teddy is there. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that going on, too. Like, it would make sense if you were writing it out like a book, and that's probably the way it was written out. But, like, because they probably wrote out the script with, like, everything they wanted to happen in the plot beforehand. But then, when the stuff happens on the screen, why do we need all this internal monologuing? Also, some of the internal monologuing feels a little off, especially for the MC. It just feels weird to have the MC have, like, internal monologue. But that's just me. A lot of the, like, in-between text could be cut out, and you would still be able to get the full plot just based off the dialogue. There's a few lines that could have been, like, tightened up or shortened or kept, but I feel like a lot of it is, like, repetitive or over-explanatory.
Who's there?
What emerged from the darkness was a young recruit who had greeted the guests earlier and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. He was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief!
Oh, is he gonna turn into goop?
Hey, are you alright?
The man rushed to his side, but the Kirijo woman silently stopped him. She stood between the two as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before he could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. Ah, yes, P3, where people literally turn to goop and, like, melt and agonizing, yeah, and to goop, yeah. They took that out of P3R. A black tar-like substance began flowing from his every orifice. The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cohered into a glob. It rose up like a beast raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will. Oh, cool! We get a like actual like Here, get out of the way, text. We get an actual, like, 2D drawing of it. That's kind of neat. It definitely doesn't look like a P3 shadow quite yet. I imagine if, like, it continued to turn into goop, it would resemble one of the Mayas or something. The man thought again about the creature group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this is what they were referring to. And the name that came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart. They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the dark hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially. That's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
At the start? The man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering. Imagine the implications of that statement. Oh, okay. You can start to see the mask forming and stuff. Got more of a dog-like appearance, though, than like a Maya. It looks pretty cool. I could see it being like a P3 enemy, yeah. Although I think the mask would probably be on the face. With the second roar, the half-liquefied shadow suddenly took the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it a bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed not in the least perturbed.
Kikuno, my things, please.
The maid stooped to reach something. The man wasn't sure what where she'd been carrying it, but she placed a sword in her master's hand. The blade was specially shaped, similar design to a fencing saber.
You're going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
At that moment, as if understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beastly appearance. In the darkness of the room, the man found it difficult simply keeping his eye on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lowered in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man, an amateur like her can never react and... You know, the less I read of this guy's internal monologue, the less I like him. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, you know, like... Some rich person comes to you and says, hey, I believe there are monsters in the world. I'd have some questions too. And now, I feel like at this point, maybe you should give her the benefit of the doubt that she knows what she's doing. However...
Artemisia!
Who are you playing as? You play as all the characters, but right now we're going through Mitsuru's side of the story. At a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed the shadow against a wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes. For it hadn't been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though the being enveloped in sublime light, contrasting the shadow's dark glow, was a woman wearing a majestic dress. The silhouette held up a hand towards the grounded shadow. So, is that... I'm trying to think, is that Mitsuru's first or second Persona appearance? I'm trying to think, because canonically, there is no reason why the Persona 3 cast should not have their, like, evolved personas. Persona 4 and onwards, well, that means Persona 4 and 5, like, you don't know if they're going to have their evolved ones or not, because they could have not gone through the awakening if you didn't, like, hang out with them and stuff. But Persona 3, their awakenings are, like, their second awakenings are all part of the plot, so they have to have it. It looks like, I think so. Because Caesar, yeah. Because, Akihiko has Caesar, and that's his second one. Yeah, okay, so they must have, yeah. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room. And with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing her sword in her hand. Huh. A white gleam arched through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered, like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was so one-sided that the man hesitated to call it a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned towards the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him a jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by this small woman. One thing was obvious. She had been through countless battles, much like the one he he just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
With a nod, the young woman approached the small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow light began to fade. Moments later, the silence darkness faded too. The world had been restored. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been suffocating, as if he had been underwater. Although I will say it's a slight change to have him be okay afterwards. At least in the intro of P3, it did seem to, like, imply that people who turn to goop are just dead. Like, they completely turn to goop. And it was also implied throughout the game that, like, normal people can't stand up to the effects of the Dark Hour without some sort of protection. Whether that be a persona or some sort of special equipment developed by the Kirijo group. To be fair, like, the first, like, little bit of the story talks about how, like, she gets out and, like, all the, like, dignitaries are ogling her and stuff because they were expecting, like, a tough guy instead of, like, a college-age young woman. So, yeah, that did happen a little bit. There was a stir of movement in the room. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman, perplexed. The man took a quick look around and fragments of the shattered door were strewn about. A young public security worker was lying unconscious nearby, and their Kirijo guest, who had entered without anyone noticing, held in her hand a drawn sword.
I'd be shocked too if I were them.
It occurred to him that if normal people couldn't sense the Dark Hour, the sudden change in circumstances may have seemed to them like some sort of magic trick.
Excuse me, but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel. Hey, what's going on here?
The forensics staff looked at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency.
Oh.
That aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
Huh? But you said...
If there are any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowning forensics team behind him, the man quickly went into the hallway with the Kirijo woman.
I have to thank you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
If the young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal, she didn't show it.
Are you saying you will reconsider your plans?
Oh, I don't even remember, Nash. I don't remember what we were talking about. Were we talking about the, like, idiot kid online or something? Was that conversation? I'm trying to remember which conversation we were talking about. Was that the one you're talking about?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did. But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
You really put one over on us this time.
Hmm?
Oh, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box.
Probably. All right, whatever. It's whatever,
Am I
man.
wrong?
You're fine.
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
The young woman fell silent, then gasped, and gave the maid walking silently beside her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. But the man and young woman sighed at once.
Us guys in public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
The summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show the actual samples to the dignitaries were set up, the proposal special unit was established in mostly the form Kirijo requested. The security department, the Shadows Response Unit. It was the inauguration of the special unit that would, in time, be nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Okay. Usually that means a secretive group, but in this case it means just they're actually dealing with shadows. Okay. Indeed, the Shadow Operatives. I'm quite fond of the name. Not that I normally pay much heed to these things, but in this case I admit to being pleased. It started as sarcasm on the part of the higher-ranked personnel from the police. It could be taken to mean those who deal with shadows, but the real meaning is those who operate in the shadows. Not only is the unit unofficial, we have the difficult-to-credit job of exterminating monsters. Mostly, I suspect it was a dig at the group that disturbed the expected peaceful years before the older personnel's retirement. But Shadow Operative could also mean one who does unrewarded, albeit crucial work for society. It's a name truly befitting of this organization's goals. We're approaching the first anniversary of the Shadows Operatives establishment, though we're still at the level of basic investigation and laying groundwork. It seems a full-scale case has arisen.
Fighting is not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there.
It's been a minute since I've heard the classic Persona 3 music. Especially this one, since this music got completely replaced with P3R, probably because of the lyrics. And the fact that the lyrics are from a old, like, what is it, like, sound library disc? You can find, like, other songs around this era that also use the same lyrics and, like, samples.
We have a general idea of where it was taken. The Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
Good as it is to hear from an old reliable friend, I limit the call to a quick exchange of information.
I'll send you the precise location later. Sorry to call when you've just returned from a trip, but I'm
this is her calling Akihiko.
Assistance.
Yeah. Because these are all the original VAs as far as I'm aware. The only one who's changed since their original game at this point is Chie. Because this was the new Chie's first role, because this came out before Golden. At least this story did. Ultimax came out after Golden, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly. But this first story with the original Persona 4 Arena came out before Golden did. So it was the first time Chie's VA got changed. But yeah, it does make me miss the old VAs. I really wish they had been able to reprise their roles for Reload. I don't know, man. I got so many thoughts about Reload. Although, it's coming up again. We do have that DLC coming out in like a month. Less than a month. I haven't been looking at trailers or anything. I saw people being like, yay, because apparently they showed that the compendium was a thing today, or recently. Because I saw a screenshot of that, so that'll be good. That's good. We knew that was probably going to be in there, but yeah. That'll make the answer at least more bearable.
He's only just returned and he's going directly to the location from the airport. Akihiko never changes.
The man I was on the phone now was just now was Akihiko Sanada. He's one of our non-permanent staff. Akihiko's an excellent Persona user, but beyond that, he's a skilled boxer. He's a friend of mine from high school. Okay. I admire his strict determination to never neglect his training. The extreme lengths he goes to can be rather inconvenient. After entering college, he accepted my invitation to be one of the founding Shadow Operatives, but it was his actions afterwards that went above and beyond. Sure, I'll join, but if I'm going to use my strength professionally, I want to get my skills to a level I'm happy with first. Thus began his training expedition. He's not only wandering the country, he's traveling the entire world. I can't decide whether to be dumbfounded or impressed by his dedication to training. All this to say, he's only just returned to Japan to take part in this operation. I give a wry smile and lean back in my chair. Seeing me relax, the girl watching me nearby smiles. This is Igus, known for her blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, and the fact that she has mechanical joints. Don't forget that part. She's a sweet girl on the outside, but she has what it takes to be an important member of our squad.
Will we be able to find Labris? My sister?
When I look over at Igus, her eyes are cast downward with a worried expression.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask?
She must have known once I called Akihiko in as backup. There is a possibility that we will have to fight Labris. Knowing that's not a great leap to imagine that in the worst case, we may have to be destroyed. And alas, it's true. If all else fails and our safety is at risk, with no other way to stop her, That option is on the table. Still...
Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labrys is not our priority. The reason I formed this shadow operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labrys, you should tell her when you see her.
I will.
The monitor is showing certain data under multiple redundant encryptions. Rejo Ergonomics Research Lab, confidential matters. There is, in fact, a reason why I'm reviewing these materials that are normally securely concealed. Because 2 days ago, on May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. The passenger plane I was taking to Kagoshima was hijacked. There hasn't been domestic hijacking for 10 years. The top brass of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the shadow operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. But the hijackers' true motives weren't terrorism or political demands, as one would expect. I was surprised to find they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the Ergonomics Research Lab. We were transporting it to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that the risky hijacking could have been in pursuit of just the cargo, and as a result, one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have any memory of carrying out the crime. Someone was pulling their strings, and very probably using uncommon methods. Considering that Puppet Master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. That's interesting, that the hijackers were mind-controlled or whatever. Or shown illusions. As for what was stolen, I just mentioned its name a moment ago. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labrys, is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergo research documents were lost in an accident, we know little about Labrys. She's an android, most likely a female version, just like Aegis. That's true, we haven't seen any Aegis brothers. It's because Hot Robot Lady is more popular than Hot Robot Man, I guess. But that is a good point. We've never... For all the variations of Aegis' sisters we've seen, and we've seen at least 2, we haven't seen, like, a brother, or, like, a male model robot. But again, it's just... Hot Robot Girl sells better. Anyway. But instead of a weapons loadout, she seems to have been fitted with some kind of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborator's quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced with the N system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where there may have been shadow activity last year. Once the preparations of part are complete, I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirijo name is still painful. 10 years on, sometimes I want to avert my eyes. But now is not the time to be bound by the past. Now is the time to act. Suddenly knows that Aegis has been staring at me weirdly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. Oh, okay. Do you remember which series that's in? We're pulling up to Yaso Inaba, the central town of Inaba. Oh, it's a central town. The main streets seem nearly deserted, and there's virtually no activity to be seen through the car's windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labrys was abandoned here. So our first move would be to confirm the situation. Oh, the Detective Naoto manga. Oh, okay. Gotcha. He can turn into a bike. Okay. Or so I thought. I can't attempt to ignore the rude stares of people trying to get a look inside the car, focusing instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around whenever we park. We've had to move it a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car had reached the junkyard on the outskirts of town. As I try to keep from sighing, Aiga speaks up from her seat in front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
She knows. She knows it stands out.
Understood.
Aegis' poker face is a perfect blank. So I understand what she's getting at. I've actually wanted to say something along those lines to the people around me for a while. Still, it'd be galling to hear it from someone else right now.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
She's saying the limo. The limo stands out way too much for a Shadow Operatives group.
Our contact has arrived.
Mitsuru wasn't specific enough when she said what kind of car she wanted, so they just gave her like the most luxurious, biggest car they could think of with all the tricks and gadgets. And it sticks out like a sore thumb. The man approaching us is someone whose cooperation I specifically requested. His name is Detective Kurosawa. Before I can welcome him, Iga speaks up.
Oh my. This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Da 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 da. Never felt like da 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 da. Lately, it feels that whenever Igus wants to voice her opinion to me, she intentionally puts on the robot act. Yeah, I could see that, just being like, what do you mean? I'm not saying anything. Is that wrong? I'm sorry, I'm just a robot. They mentioned this at the lab. That if Igus still speaks in that stiff, formal manner, either she's getting too human as developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose. Honestly.
We appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Long time no see, miss. And Igus, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer at a police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. He was shunned for cooperating with us and got busted back down to officer, but now that the Shadow Operatives are officially recognized, he's in their good graces again. A man who can be trusted beyond the confines of his station to solve a case, even going so far to bend the rules. He's a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression has softened while he makes small talk with Igus. I guess his portrayal in P3R makes a lot more sense then, because you see him much more directly talking to and related to like Akihiko and stuff during his hangout sessions and stuff. So yeah, I think so. Because like I said, I think I saw screenshots on like Twitter and stuff of people being like, hey, look, they actually put a compendium in the game, which is good. Oh yeah, nah, you know what? I saw something else on Twitter, but it's a cesspool. I'm not going to talk about it. I had to get on there because I needed to check the news for a game I play. But every time I do that for that game, I always get like distracted about what's going on else is going on Twitter, and then I remind myself like why I don't ever use Twitter, except for like when I need to. Place is just like a whirlwind of like people yelling, screaming about different things, and like just like it's not healthy. I don't know. There's some good stuff on there, you know, but like generally speaking, it's just like it sucks my soul out of me. I don't know how else to put it, to be like in that place for too long. Detective Kurosawa's expression is softened while he makes small talk with Igus, which makes me realize this may be the first time he's seen Igus enter combat for him.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
You must understand why that we're trying to go incognito. Though it's kind of him not to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to that goal as he enters the limousine. He sits and does not even wait until the doors close before getting to the point.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into.
Just thinking that if you went on a date with Igus, I bet the puns would be wild. Yeah. I don't know. She's not as much of a pun person as, like, say, Teddy, but you could make a lot of puns, yeah.
First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish. If you can take what's in the record at face value, it seems persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing. Apparently, the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
So it was Akechi's report. He must have been, that must be the report of the game kid. The person who was pretending to be the killer for attention. Huh. Interesting. So it's not even like Akechi's testimony. Interesting.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus-pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
Well, more like the culprit gave himself up, but yes. I had asked him to collect information about the serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year. The shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought the local police would be more willing to speak with them. But the results surpassed my expectations. Though it is slightly frustrating to already run up against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny, though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa jokes with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back at us. I had nothing to say to that, and as I watched him leave, rotating its shoulders to work out some kinks. I guess, though, felt the need to comment.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
I can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that Persona users can enter TVs.
We are at a junkyard, after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Agus looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There is a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Agus.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
That's not what I'm worried about. Agus isn't wearing anything like a disguise, and... No, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Let them gossip about the strange people in funny clothes. They'll become some urban legend. My mind made up, I step outside wearing my special equipment. Once Iga sees that I followed her, she gives me a small nod and stretches her hand out towards the screen.
Amazing!
Her hand, it's inside the TV screen. But the screen itself seems undamaged. Igas's hand is swelled up to her wrist, as if she put it into a bucket of water.
Interesting. It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
And right now, I'm guessing Naoto is hiding behind a junk pile nearby, watching them do this.
Not particularly. No, wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
That voice from above. It sounds very familiar. But all I see in that direction from where it came is a man in an outlandish red cape. I hesitate for a moment. Could it be...
Is that Akihiko?
The man leaps from the stacked towers of TVs like an acrobat.
You didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Oh, jeez.
Didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
You know what? The no shirt thing is a little much, but like his obliviousness towards like stuff like this is still very much on par for high school Akihiko.
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Akihiko's right. That's exactly why we've been trying to act as quickly as possible since this case began.
We're different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever.
Shakespeare in the park. Doth mother knoweth you weareth her drapes?
And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating?
Yeah, good stuff.
We agreed to do
Good
this.
stuff.
I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Recklessly unafraid to state his honest opinion. Classic Akihiko. You must understand that this is that is his role. Certainly, there were times when I need such opinions. It's been a while since he went abroad. I think I can understand his current mindset.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
He doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring up the contact list. We're all inside a TV. I don't know what it might be like in there, but I think I do know someone who could help us. I was originally going to ask for their help after Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Oh, Fuka maybe? Now, I've taken all possible precautions. The rest is a test of our resolve. As Doom? Oh, is he gonna play Dr. Doom? I didn't know that. That'd be cool. Hey, one megalomaniac tech wizard to another, right?
We'll wait here in the car.
Yeah. If we all barge in and something happens, they'll be devastated.
Now that you
Alright, we already saw that cutscene, like, literally 10, 20 minutes ago. Well, we saw it at the start of Naruto's. Where's the start of Naruto's story? So we'll just skip through that. It's just them jumping into the TV world anyway. It's cool that there is some animated cutscenes for this game, though.
Is this inside the TV?
Interesting that they're playing the, He's in the new Fantastic Four movie? Oh, I didn't see that. I haven't been keeping up with movies and stuff, especially superhero stuff. Neat. Maybe I'll have to look up the trailer or something. They've tried the Fantastic Four movie a couple of times. I remember watching the one way back in the day. Well, I say way back in the day. Way back in the early 2000s, but yeah. I remember being enveloped in a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the site before me seems to be the main gate of the school. The name engraved on its entrance plate is...
Yasagami High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
Then I came to a realization. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from reality as far as appearances, but it has the same distinctive sticky atmosphere. The Labyrinth Tartarus, our battleground 3 years ago. There's a lot of similarity to this place.
Wait, where are the others? Akihiko! I guess.
Being separated won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps I can use my communication power to get in touch with them?
I can't reach them through my persona either. This place is highly unusual.
It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for enemies, I hear the sounds of footsteps. I tense myself, getting ready. But when I turn around, a uniformed girl stops, looking at me in bewilderment.
Huh?
I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl. Could her age and outfit be a connection to the theft of Labrys? But once the girl's surprise faded, she still seems confused by my appearance. Seems that even here in another dimensions, people are startled by my attire. At least her reaction allayed my suspicions. People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh, no.
Why are you here?
Well,
What? Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after another, clearly intrigued to see us here.
What's going on?
Before I can react, an image... Okay. Yeah, see, that didn't need to be, like... There didn't even need to be a text there. You could have just turned on the TV. Benevolent dictator. That's a new one.
And I, Rosette, am your commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix. Are you ready to fight?
P1 Grand Prix? Fight? Ugh.
I instinctively raise my arm to shield my eyes from the harsh light. It's like feels like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh, it's a mysterious, beautiful lady.
Both priestess, if I remember correctly, yes? Or empress? No, because... Right, no, empress is something else. Empress is a social link in P4. Right.
How unexpected! Unexpected!
Teddy, what's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
Huh. That's interesting. The Teddy facade broke down because it couldn't handle with Mitsuru being there. The monitor showing the costume General Teddy suddenly fuzzes over with static. The static gets worse and worse until an eerily expressionless bear costume, one that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expressions, appears on screen. The voice is the same as before, but its tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
What is that supposed to mean? Ugh. What's going on?
As soon as the abnormality registers, I feel bizarre noise, like something scratching against my whole body. Was that some kind of attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
You. Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this? It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway. If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life here.
The girl's face distorts with hatred as she spits word at me. It's a far cry from her early demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. Hey, Jetpack. How's it going? That's not all. Understandably, she seems not to know me before. Now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could this be effect of the noise I sensed?
You won't be so smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya.
A persona?
The girl spreads the fan in her hand, and with a flash of light, a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for this possibility as soon as I saw her here in this world.
We won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my evoker and concentrate.
To me, Artemisia.
Oh, true! When she summoned her persona, the one guy didn't mention the fact that she shot herself in the head. With the evoker. He didn't mention that part. Or didn't notice it. Power rises from within me, and the sensation in my limbs tells me my persona has emerged. But my hand is holding the evoker is still at my side. My persona. Did it just appear without the use of my evoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Theoretically, one doesn't need an evoker to summon one's persona. I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested, and I've done without one several times other times as well. But never before had I summoned so easily, with a special concentration. That my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, it feels like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because this world is special? This girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. That's interesting. They're trying to address the fact that, like, P3 you need evokers, P4 you don't need evokers. You just kind of summon with tarot cards or whatever. Which reminds me, this girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
Persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
Okay. Finally, a fight. Ooh. There is a lot of yapping for a fighting game story, I will say. Okay.
Final. Fight!
I'm coming for you! You will pay! You're slow! I'm coming for you! Wanna stay! You're slow! I'm coming for you! Lauren Karen!
Ah, yes. I should have known better to use Mary Karen.
You're slow! I'm lost!
That never works out for Mitsuru.
Oh my! They lost!
Once the battle ends, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
He obviously refers to myself and the others. Does he mean that he's going to adjust his tactics for dealing with us due to how much of a threat we are? The way he said that seems like a bad omen.
Valid targets.
Does P4A have a online mode? It does. Yeah, I'll probably play some online matches with viewers at some point. Let myself get beaten up a little bit. Once I can get through at least the basic story. Because there's this story and Ultimax's story. So I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? It seems we're part of the tournament now, but what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again. Once more, it shows the costume person as he originally appeared.
Jeez, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun!
At least the Steam version does. Yeah, I'm playing the Steam version, so that still works. But I'm not sure about other versions of the game. Obviously, Xbox 360, it's not going to work because of that shutdown. I'm not sure if I got ported to other consoles. But I know at least like the Steam PC version still works.
But this is a unique situation, and you're one hot mama, so I'll make an exception.
I'm not sure if the PS3 version still has online servers. Maybe? I don't think PS3 has been shut down, but I'm not sure if it's just the store that hasn't been shut down or if it's also the like online servers for games on that platform that hasn't been shut down. Not sure on that.
Just keep putting on a good show in your next bout, too.
Because I think the original at least came out on that as well.
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show your face?
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit. Enough with the questions. Move on.
Again? Yet another person hung up on my outfit? It's unlike me to let the enemy's words get under my skin. The monitor switches off with those cheeky words.
Is that costume thing the one who stole Labris? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament? Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I quickly link my communicator and persona. Some personas are more suited to operational support than direct combat. In my case, though, the power is secondary. We normally have a persona user who specializes in that role, but with some specialized equipment, I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll soon learn enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view of the situation. Before the layout of this place becomes clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that have been spectating. In an instant, they turn to something like silhouettes that barely have human shapes. Only the store was shut down. Online still works if the game has active servers. Technically, yes. But, like, I don't think you can sign into Xbox Live anymore, can you? So, and also, if the servers for like stuff like Halo 3 has been shut down, I doubt that there are still active servers for Persona 4 Arena still active on the Xbox 360. See you later, Nash. Thanks for hanging out. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
The cheering crowd would lead one to believe that there's a large number of people inside the TV, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Leaves it a mystery. Maybe best to consider it a blessing.
In any case, it appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
Online GTA 4. Oh, okay. I didn't know that that stuff was still up. I thought it was like pretty much all gone. To be fair, like any like updates or DLC are probably gone. But well, maybe not updates. I'm not sure if that works through this store or if that's like a separate system. But yeah. The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. But I doubt the servers are still up for the 360 version at the very least. Just because I think the 360 version was not the like enhanced re-release that added like a new story and like some new characters. So if there were still going to be servers up for a console version, it would be that version. I think that was like not on Xbox 360. I could be wrong on that though. I could be wrong on that. The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. I wasn't fighting to my fullest, so she shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There are many mysteries surrounding this girl. She seems to be more than just an associate of the one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she jumps back like a startled animal. Her speech is flustered, her face a bright blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that. I can't believe someone I've never even met before knew.
The girl covers her red face in shame. I try to think back what I said to her. Did I point out anything that would cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. When the girl's manner of speech shifted before a battle, it wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she should about my past.
That reminds me. That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me now no longer bears any of the senseless animosity from before.
Seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No! How could Teddy...
She seems to have finally calmed down and continues muttering with a perplexed expression.
You know the one in costume, I take it?
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand again and help her to her feet.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure just now.
Oh no! Yeah, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax did come out on Xbox 360. Not sure if the Xbox 360 servers are still up, though. Okay. What other platforms did it come out on? Came out on Switch at some point, PlayStation 4, and PC. Those were released in 2022, so I imagine those have online servers. Not sure if the Xbox 360 version still has online servers, though. I know that there was an update on the PC version to add rollback to both the PS4 version and PC version, at least.
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student. Why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized recent past. Okay. She's summarizing the events of P4 to her. Okay.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts. It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too, but they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave, then?
I can tell from Amagi's reaction that normally she trusts those two implicitly. Considering that what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under its control as well? Either way, it sheds no light onto the theft of Labris. How are they related? Or is this incident only a coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labris?
Labris? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance, though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
Though it appears that there's no connection, whoever went so far as to hijack a plane to steal Labris brought her all the way here. Now, no matter how I look at it, that means something.
Anyway, thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now. We should stay together going forward.
Whoa! Think again, ladies! Only the winner of each bout can go on. That's rule number 1 in the Grand Prix.
Which one of this have we heard more? Him talking about the fact that only one person can go on at a time? Or the, line that, Rise always does, where she's like, everybody's been fighting each other. Probably the one about, invisible walls or whatever.
There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe?
Since we probably won't get that dialogue from Rise in this story. Cool.
Wait, but Mitsuru-san could...
Yeah, I figured that the PS3 might still have servers, but I'm not sure about the Xbox 360 at this point. Maybe, if you got the Xbox 360 console version and then played on, Xbox One or something? I don't know. Who knows? Stuff like that's hard to tell. I'm not sure if it's, because the other thing is I'm not sure if it's, on Xbox or, the original company to keep those servers up. And it probably depends on the game, right?
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go. Come on, miss. You won. So it's time to barrel forward to the next stage.
I must leave this girl alone in this strange world then. Oh, I'm uneasy about doing so. Boggy seems to read my thoughts and smiles.
Thank you, but I'll be all right. I fought shadows for an entire year too. I can protect myself.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm all right and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Mitsuru-san.
Amagi smiles resolutely. She's a very strong girl.
All right, I'll pass that along.
Not acknowledging her wishes and turn my back to walk away.
Not only do they tamper with our minds, they prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
I grit my teeth in anger. Amagi's clear eyes remain in my heart. This operation, it's no longer just to retrieve Labris. I make a silent vow as I go. Everyone who has been dragged into this must be rescued.
Another dead end.
As I step into the school, I realize that these invisible walls are everywhere, blocking off routes that seem open to the naked eye. Why is the thief who stole Labris gathering Persona users in this world? Not having a clear idea of their motivations is compounding my anxiety. I guess Nakihiko may have been dragged into this Grand Prix as well. If so, we need to compare notes. If all goes well, we may figure out the location of the mastermind behind this I failed to grasp earlier. Alright, see you, JPEG. Have fun too. Have a good one. After quickly confirming that there are no shadows nearby, I link my communicator with my persona. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting throughout the surrounding area.
Hurts. So lonely.
Oh, that must be Rise. I think let's try and get through one more fight here, and then I think we'll wrap up for today. And we can pick back up next Tuesday.
What was that?
I was hoping to get through another 2 characters like I have been, but both Naoto and Mitsuru just had a lot of new stuff thrown at us, so it took a while to get through it. The presence is fate, and I can't tell where it is, yet I can definitely hear a voice. It seems I could sense it because of my secondary support capabilities, but when I focus harder, it doesn't seem to trying to communicate with me. It's more like the words and the intense emotions behind them are seeping out of the room itself, perhaps even from all around me. Eventually, the voice becomes clearer.
I'm scared.
Oh no, it's Labris.
It hurts. Why? Why won't anyone listen?
I don't recognize the voice. Perhaps one of Amagi's friends.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
A machine? Is that Labris?
I stand up and try calling to her.
Labris, are you nearby? Answer me.
There's no answer. Seems that's not because the voice's owner is nearby that I can hear her. It's subtly different from hearing voices within one's own ears, it's true. I focus my senses once again, but I still can't exactly tell where it's coming from. This must be the kind of stuff that Teddy and Rise were able to sense while going through P4's dungeons, right? The general feelings and thoughts of the person who created it. They do talk about that somewhat, where they're like, the person, you know, they're feeling blank, they're feeling this, they're feeling that, right? Or I can feel like the resentment, or I can like feel the anger coming from the person, or different emotions, right? Not yet having a thorough command of the layout here makes it harder to pinpoint. Eventually the voice fades, only silence remains.
Going by what she said, that had to have been Labris.
Sounds as if her heart has developed further than we thought.
Even I guess the latest model required a lot of time and experience to develop the heart she has. So then why does Labris, who's been sealed from her development up till now, have such an advanced heart?
I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
The anti-shadow suppression weapons. Both Aegis and Labris were created as insurance for dangerous shadow experiments, in case the subjects should go berserk. The only thing that can stand up to a shadow, against a shadow, is a persona, and being able to control one is absolutely necessary when dealing with shadows. Thus, they were given hearts in order to induce their ability to use personas, but a weapon that has a heart contradicts itself. It was natural for Aegis to face that contradiction, and it caused her serious anguish in the past.
We can't allow victims like her to be tormented by sins of the past, whether they're human or not.
Newly resolved, I press on. I continue through the school, still unable to contact Aegis or Akihiko. The invisible walls seem to be leading me towards a gym. Compared to the one back at Gekkoukan High, this one is rather modest, but the chairs stacked to unusual heights and the monitors everywhere give it an eerie air. Ah, the monitor is switching on again. But this time it's not showing General Teddy. How strange, this appears to be a commercial for a fighting event.
What in the...
A succession of young men and women are introduced as participants. One of them I recognize as Amagi.
They're wearing the same uniforms as Amagi. I assume these are the friends she spoke
okay.
of.
This must be the, like, you know, the, like, fighting commercial kind of, like, advertisement shown on the Midnight Channel. All of them are introduced with horrible epithets, but the Amagi I met in person was a completely different, sophisticated girl. I suppose the enemy made up all these taglines. Just as Amagi's introduction ends, the voice suddenly turns off and General Teddy's face appears on screen.
I had to completely rejigger the bracket to accommodate 3 new contestants. Sheesh.
3 new contestants. Myself, Akihiko, and Aegis?
On the other paw, a tournament's more exciting with more people in it. But getting back on track, allow me to introduce your next opponent.
When I enter, someone who had already been there turns around. His face, it was on the video a moment ago.
There's people besides us here?
You're...
Holy crap, she's smoking hot. The thing she's wearing doesn't hurt either.
You were in that video just now. What was it they called you? Captain Ressentiment?
How come you remember that stupid title and not my real name? Figures I need a knockout like this, and she already knows about that. God, I wish I was dead.
Apparently, that Batats from the video hit a sore point with the people featured. The nickname left more of an impression than his real name, so it just slipped out. At that moment, General Teddy appears again on one of the larger monitors in the gym.
How do you like your opponent?
Why are you making us fight? What benefit do you derive from this nonsense?
So many questions. I just want you all to suffer. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fun?
That's what this is about? No. If Labrys is involved, there's more to it, isn't there?
Enough jibber-jabber. Hurry and start the fight. Look at your opponent. He's ready, see?
As the General smirks, a wave of discomfort washes over me. It's the same as that time with Amagi. As I glare at the monitor, I'm thinking that more interference is at work here. I hear unexpectedly bitter words.
Yeah, Teddy's right. I mean, you're the one who barged in here. Man, who'd come to such a dangerous place without hesitating? You really are an ice queen. I bet you don't have many friends, huh?
It's happening again. The moment that noise kicks in, not only does my opponent's personality change, they begin speaking of things they shouldn't know about. It's exactly like what happened with Amagi.
You talk as if you know me.
Stop acting so calm and changing the subject. You seem like you don't know much about this world. So how do you plan to get out? Don't tell me you rushed in here with no escape plan. Oh man, seriously? You're nuts. People like you who obsess over responsibility and put all the burden on yourselves, you annoy the hell out of me.
It doesn't matter how others perceive me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that because you don't trust anyone?
We clearly can't have a normal conversation with the enemy's interference. But even knowing that, I catch myself trying to argue the point. The heavy responsibility I suffer is mine alone. If I share it with someone, that means that suffering will also be shared. That's why I try to be self-sufficient. The more I care about someone, the less I'm willing to rely on them. But isn't that no better than not believing in them? I've been caught in that trap before. Maybe I still haven't truly escaped it. But how could he guess at my private distress? One that I've barely confided to others before.
I was supposedly an unexpected intruder. What's going on?
What are you mumbling about? Well, let me ease your mind. I'll end everything for you. Let's do this, Jiraiya!
Go, Yosuke-senpai! Beat up that shady lady! Let the fight begin!
I can see there'll be no talking sense with him like this. There's nothing for it, then. Artemisia!
Okay, let's get through this fight, and then, once we get to the next, save point after this, we'll go ahead and probably call it a day.
Final. Fight!
You're slow! I'm coming for you! Damn it! Here goes! I'm coming! You're slow!
Kidding me?
How unfortunate. Better luck next time.
Okay. That should be fine for now.
Aw, you're so
Okay. Alright. It's been like a good 3 hours. I think this is a good time to wrap it up for now. Oh! we'll come back to that next Tuesday. Trying to get through the rest of the P3 cast, I guess. Hopefully there's a little bit more overlap or a little less explanation with Aigis and Akihiko. It's fine if there is. You know what? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna get through all this one way or another. I got plenty of time to kill. I don't care how long it really takes. Because, like, not like I got any timelines or deadlines or anything, right? Just play until, we're through all the story stuff and, probably do some online matches with people. People want to hang out and do that. And then at that point, I'll probably look at picking up something else. But, like, I have no deadlines. We can keep playing this all the way through next month or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'd like to keep making progress, but, however long it takes, that's how long it takes. But yeah, I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow, maybe, for that extra stream. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you this weekend. Or maybe I'll see you next Tuesday for more of this. Either way, hope you guys all have a good rest of your day and everything. Thank you, Will, JPEG, Jeppo, Nash. Just scrolling up real quick. Dom, King Sora, Carol. Hope you guys all have a good one. Thanks to anybody watching back on the VOD or lurking. Hope you have a good one as well. And in case I don't see you, hope you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, good night. See you guys.